Happy Monday. Hey, Philly girl. How are you? Hey, everyone. Hey, Roy D. How are you doing today? I'm great. I'm great. Enjoy my weekend. Enjoy my weekend. It felt like it was a long weekend or something this weekend. I don't know. But I enjoyed my weekend off. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend because I did. Thank God for today to see another great day. Yep. Yeah. I had got up, did what I had to do. Then I got lazy, y'all. I took a shower and fell back to sleep, and I woke up because I forgot I had my live set. Okay. Yeah. So I supposed to have went out this morning and took care of some stuff, but it was raining here and bleary, so I ain't feel like going nowhere. I'll do it in the morning. But other than that, I'm good. I'm blessed to see another day. Yes, and I know Carmelo case is coming up, I think Wednesday. So I'll probably cover that Wednesday and Thursday because I think that's going to be a live case. They're letting people in the courtroom and stuff this time. So I'll probably switch over and do that case Thursday and Friday. No, Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know about Friday because I don't know if they're going to have a court date on Friday. But I know the 19th and the 20th, they definitely going to um, be live. So I'm going to do that case. Miss Roy, I couldn't read them two notes. What, the two notes on my community wall? Only thing I do is click on it. That's why I put it up there. I said if you want to click on it and read it. If you're talking about the note I put on my community wall, you have to click on it and it'll open it up and you can read it. Yeah. That's why I put it on the headline. Click on it. Because I know the whole sometimes when you post something like that big, it won't show the whole thing. So you I don't know if all content creators do it, but I always put click on it. And once you click on it, it'll open it up and you can read the whole thing. Yeah. Miss Griffin, baby, hey, how was your weekend, my darling? I know you've been tuned in. Yeah, so if you go back to the community wall, just click on it and it'll open it up and you can read the whole thing. Um Saturday, I was tuned out for Saturday all day. I needed to rest my mind, y'all. I went out and tried to enjoy my real life. So I did tune out all day Saturday because sometimes this stuff can be really mentally draining. Sunday, I tuned in a little bit, you know. She said, I have. I know it, girl. Miss Griffin, you're going to be my um detective over here. Okay? Because you be bringing it, girl. You be on it, okay? You be on it. I ain't gonna lie, you be on it. I see a lot of people on Facebook putting up fake stuff, talking about something. Um, they went to take Christina car and she's getting arrested. I'm like, these people need to stop with all this fake AI stuff. Like, what is going on? It's just, when cases start to getting messy, y'all. After a while, I tap out because I just feel like I can't do it no more. I don't like stuff like that. I can't stand when stuff start to get messy. I don't like all that messy stuff. The case already got messy enough when Mr. Potato got involved. You know what I'm saying? He made this case just as messy as it want to be. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oof, these people just need to stop. Like, stop it. So I got new information. Okay. Shut down. Yes, I heard their mother shut down her social media because wait a minute, I seen it on Facebook. I can't remember everything, but I think she was saying somebody was coming after her kids. Hey, auntie. Okay, remember they kept saying there they had to be an adult as well. It was. I think I seen that this weekend too. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they said it was the Warren stepmama. Let me know if I'm hitting it right. Auntie, what's going on? Happy Monday to you. Last night, her and Warren and his sons going back and forth with each other. Ooh, wait, Warren and the stepmom? They trying to say it was the biological mom. You know what? I heard that in the beginning, but I never knew if that was true or not. Because now, when he did that interview, I did hear him say, "Well, I tried to call my mom. I tried to call my mom, and she was all the way on this north side, south side, or something, you know." Oh, but so your mom was really there. Oh, oh, wow. Hmm. Wow. That's crazy word. That's crazy. Hmm. Yeah, I see it been a lot going on. Um, yeah, I missed it. Let me see. Here's the picture going around of the biological mom and Warren on the island. She was on the south side of the island. That's what I heard him say. That's what I heard him say. He said that in that interview. He sure did. He said that in that interview. He actually did. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, they was trying to act like it was no adults or nothing around in that interview. Mm-hmm. Shame on them. Shame on them. Shame on them. Now, this morning, I heard Don Lemon said that they are, it's going to take like 30 more days for the um, grand jury to view everything. And after that, I guess they're going to see if they're going to have anybody to charge or anything like that. They said it was going to be 30 more days. So that's what I heard Don Lemon say this morning on his live. Hey, Rebecca, how you doing, baby? Good afternoon to you. So I said, damn, 30 more days. So we talking about like the middle of September, y'all. Because that's what it sounds like to me. Like the middle of September. Wow, that's crazy, y'all. That is definitely crazy work. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. The middle of September. Well, I'm gonna let y'all hear this video, and I think, yeah, think I got another one too. Mm, it's a lot, y'all. It really, really is. It's a lot. But I do know the mom is going to turn over the phone and everything with her attorney with the phone. So I do know that, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That needs to be turned over so they can look into everything and see what's going on. I don't blame the mother for did not want to turn over the phone in the beginning. Bring this up for y'all.
going to play raw footage. These are clips from Just Brit and Nerdy Pink Panda, two creators who've been digging into this case and surfacing details that mainstream coverage has either missed or glossed over. Watch these first. Then we'll break down exactly what you just saw.
I told y'all that Jax was the ringleader. I told y'all. He sat in this interview and he was telling stories about shit that he wasn't even there to witness. So let's break down some of the stuff that I heard in this interview. Let's start with Warren's first phone call because y'all.
And if y'all notice, I don't know, but Warren has lost a lot of weight, y'all. From the beginning, when this first happened, he was kind of little, his neck was not as thin. His face was not as thin and sunk in. His legs is smaller. He have lost a lot of weight because he's wearing, baby, he got a lot going on. He wearing to death, honey. Okay. He got a lot going on. He definitely lost a lot of weight. I don't know if any one of y'all noticed it, but yes, he lost a lot of weight.
Remember that Warren said that he was over at Ava's house for that 4th of July party when they all started realizing that Nolan was missing, and he called Miss Christine at 11 o'clock.
One of the first things I heard about the told Miss Christine Wells in the first phone call that ever occurred with anything to do with Nolan Wells being gone, because I was the first person to call Miss Christine about anything. First phone call, anything to do with Nolan Wells, was me making a phone call, Christine Wells. And one of the first things I said to her, with multiple witnesses here, pull up the phone call if you want. She said, oh, well, Nolan's location is with y'all at, where the house we were at. And I was like, well, no, he left his phone with us. I told her this.
And yesterday, the same time that this interview came out, Christine Wells said this.
360 says that he's on land, and he was like, well, no, I mean, when we have his phone.
So both versions of the story say that Warren didn't tell her about the phone until after she confronted him with the 360. Now, Warren tells Miss Christine that he...
Right. So that's how I went. That's why I played this, y'all. He didn't tell her about the phone, but he told Mr. Potato, he told her about the phone, but he did not tell her about the phone until she said that I see his phone is on land. And that's when he said, I have the phone. Before then, he didn't tell her anything. And he probably wasn't going to tell her about the phone if he didn't find out the phone was pending on land. That's when he said he had the phone. But Mr. Potato and all his people, they took that and ran with it as though Warren told Miss Christina first. And that's not the way it happened.
He knows somebody in the Coast Guard and that he's going to call them, which is very fucking different than calling the Coast Guard, which absolutely explains why the Coast Guard came out and said at first that they had not received a call from the kids that night. The Coast Guard's initial statement said they weren't informed until 12:30. Then the Coast Guard later changed their story and said, oh, wait, actually, we did. And it seems to me that that first call was most likely an off the record to a friend kind of deal, which means these people freaked out and didn't call the Coast Guard until after all these people showed up at Jax's house. Which would explain why in the course of this interview, it went from Warren called the Coast Guard to we did. Now, when the subject turns to how the family got the phone back from these boys, you'll notice that there was a couple slip-ups.
Warren, you weren't at the house. And so you weren't there when they came to get the phone and all that. So
now remember, Warren just said that he wasn't at the house when the phone was got. And then Morgan talks about getting a phone call from one of the people in Christine Wells' group.
And how did they get the phone back?
So I got a call from a kid we went to high school with. He called me just asking me questions. He saw people posting on Snapchat, like the picture that was circulating.
Except this picture wasn't posted until July 5th. Well, how could this picture have been circulating on Snapchat that night? But let's continue.
And he called and he was asking questions. He was like, where's Nolan? When's the last time y'all seen him? And then he was like, so where are y'all at? And I told him, I said, we're at Jax's house. And then Warren got on the phone and I don't know.
So they come to my house, right?
And they kind of
Hold on, before we get there, was it confrontational or was it just just trying to find? It was confrontational.
Yeah,
already?
wouldn't y'all agree?
He was
110%.
He was very
confrontational.
And when did was this on the night of the 4th or the next
this
day?
was the night when this was before they came and got the phone.
So this is the night of the 4th, yes.
You guys are missing a part of the
Hey,
story.
Auntie
How did
Barbara.
you get from Ava's
Hey,
house
Tamala.
to Jax's house?
Hey,
Because Miss
Latay.
Christine is watching you guys on the Life 360. So suddenly she's seeing the phone leave one location and go to another. Of course I would be upset. And now all of a sudden Warren is there when the phone stuff starts happening? He's listening to the phone call? Now I need y'all to remember that Warren.
Well, again, if your child was missing, anybody's child was missing, you're not going to go to someone's house by yourself neither. That's just, come on. That's just us. Okay. We know that as Black people. Okay. We're not going to come to your house just one goddamn person. We're going to come with carloads deep, okay? Because we don't know what we might bump against when we get there. So they should have expected that. You talking about her son was with you on a trip on the 4th of July. He went missing. You have his phone. You have his car keys. And y'all think the mother person came by herself? I know y'all did not expect that. And y'all know y'all did not expect for her to come there and laugh and joke and, be nice to y'all. I know y'all did not expect that. If you did, something is really, literally wrong with you.
And also said that the phone was in his truck on the first conversation, as we have from this report. Meaning, if we were to believe Warren that he was not there when everybody showed up looking for the phone at some time in between 11 and 1 a.m. So then that would mean after they heard this angry phone call, Warren gets the phone out of his vehicle and puts it in Jack's house and then leaves.
There's probably like 10, 15 people in my house I don't even know. And they're all up in our faces, going crazy, asking where no one is, and we don't know. And finally, they get into Wyatt's face, and they're like, "Where's your boat? Where's the boat at?"
Demanding his address.
Demanding his address and stuff like that. And he finally ends up giving it to him. We give them the phone. They have the phone at this point. Then they get the address to his house. Then they go to his house. And they're searching all over his boat, what I heard
What you
and
heard,
stuff like
right,
that.
because you don't know.
Anyways, I don't really know much
Right.
about that, but they come back to my house at around 1 o'clock in the morning.
We called law enforcement. I was with Wyatt at the time after we left Jax's house that night. I was with Wyatt, and one person we were with saw that their location was headed towards Wyatt's house. And so Wyatt got on the phone with 911 and was like, "Hey, these people are on the way to my house or already at my house. My mom and my dad are there alone, and they know nothing about this." But Wyatt's mom actually, when they were looking...
Y'all heard what he said? My mom and dad there's alone. They don't know nothing about this. About what? About what happened to Nolan? You didn't tell them right away what was going on with Nolan? Really? Do y'all believe that? Do y'all actually do believe that? Latte, I got to hit you up when I get off. I meant to do it before I got on, but I do it when I get off, girl. You know I got to talk to you, girl. Yeah, but yeah, I peeped that when he said that too. He called the police because they was on his way to his mom and dad's house.
But they were actually walking from the boat, and she came out and started talking to them.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Wyatt, Morgan, and Jax were all together. Warren was gone for some reason at this point. 10 to 15 people just barge into your house. Don't know why your grandparents weren't around. That might explain some things, huh? Guess y'all had the house all to your fucking self that
Facts.
weekend. But then they ask Wyatt for his address so that they can go look at the boat. Wyatt gives them the address. They start heading over there. Wyatt and Morgan get into a car and leave Jax's house. Somebody else that you were with that we aren't hearing about is tracking someone else's phone, or if they were tracking Nolan's phone and they saw it was heading to Wyatt's house. And even though Wyatt gave them the address, and instead of calling his parents, he calls 911 and tells them, "My parents don't know anything about that's going on. Can you send police over there?" Now, mind you, it was about half an hour after being on the phone with Warren that Christine was able to actually call and report him missing. But she was having to go back and forth and go down to all these different agencies because nobody would fucking help her. And frankly, I want to know why all of this confrontation was left out of the fucking report. Like, if this family had to be removed from 2 different properties by the police, why is there no record of that? And in fact, it wasn't until after these confrontations that MDMR and Ocean Springs Police apparently had their little conversations about who was going to be taking over the case. Because remember, the Jackson County Sheriff Lieutenant told them that deputies had spoken with several friends that had traveled to the island on the vessel with Nolan, and that when they were left, he was in the company of an unknown female. So now, even though Warren had supposedly called the Coast Guard, all these family members are telling the police that the kid is missing. These are the people that last saw them. They're all like, we last saw him on the island. Still, the deputies said that they did not have reason to believe that there was any water-related exigencies or emergencies. Don't worry, y'all. I've got a lot fucking more to say about this stuff. So come back for part 2. I'm going to be immediately recording it because Warren fucked up pretty badly in this interview, and I'll show you why.
All right. Now you've seen it. Now let's talk about what it actually means. Because this isn't just TikTok drama. This is evidence of a pattern of conflicting statements, a pattern of stories that shift depending on who's doing the interview, and a pattern of pressure being applied to a grieving mother for daring to ask one simple question. Where was my son's phone and who had access to it? That is the question Christine Wansley has been asking since the day Nolan's body was found on Horn Island, July 6th, 2 days after he vanished during a 4th of July trip with friends. 2 days. And when his phone came back, she says it didn't come back the way it left. Now, here is where this gets layered. So stay with me. On August 10th, Tyler Cox, the attorney representing 3 of Nolan's friends, made a stunning claim. He went on Sirius XM with Dan Abrams and said something that landed like a grenade. He said, I have reason to believe, and I do believe, that the Wells family have not cooperated with law enforcement. I do not think that they have turned in Nolan's phone, and I'm willing to bet my reputation on that. Think about the weight of that for a second. An attorney for the friends, not the family, not the prosecution, not law enforcement. The friend's lawyer is going on national radio saying the family is withholding evidence. That's not a casual comment. That is a strategic move. And he didn't stop there. He said the police do not have Nolan's phone. He said they haven't had access to it. And then he asked, so how can you say that there's texts missing or there's photographs missing? Now, on the surface, that sounds like a reasonable question, right? If you haven't given the phone over, how do you know what's on it or not on it?
Facts.
But that framing only works if you ignore what Christine Wansley already told Good Morning America. It only works if you skip over the family's entire stated position. And it only works if nobody checks what was actually agreed to. So let's check. On August 11th, an attorney representing Wells's parents sent a letter to the district attorney stating the family remains ready and willing to arrange a joint forensic inspection of the phone, referencing a July 15th meeting where that plan was reportedly discussed. July 15th. That's 9 days after Nolan's body was found. 9 days in, and the family's legal team says they sat down with the DA's office and discussed a plan, a joint forensic examination. Not a handoff, not a drop-off at a precinct. A coordinated process where the family's forensic experts, the DA's office, and possibly the FBI would all be present. One device, one download, everyone in the room. That was the agreement, according to the family's attorneys. But then, nothing happened. No date was set, no location was confirmed, no follow-up email, no scheduling call. Weeks passed. Nearly a full month of silence from the DA's office. And then, on August 12th, the district attorney sent a letter to the Wansley family. By August 13th, another attorney for the family clarified that the district attorney's office had since told them to simply deliver the phone directly to law enforcement, which the family says differs from the joint review process they believed had been agreed to in July. And here's the part that matters. The DA gave them less than 48 hours. Deliver the phone by 9 a.m. on August 14th. 48 hours. And the family was out of town when the letter was sent. They physically could not meet that deadline. So let's lay this out clearly, because the sequence matters. July 15th, the family and the DA agree, according to the family's attorneys, to a joint examination. Then silence for a month. August 11th, the family's attorney sends a letter reaffirming their willingness. August 12th, the DA says just hand the phone over to law enforcement. August 13th, the family says that's not what was agreed. And then the narrative becomes, the family is refusing to cooperate. Does that sound like a refusal to you? Or does it sound like a setup? The dispute, based on the most recent statements, centers on the method and shared oversight of the examination rather than a flat refusal to hand the device over. Let me say that again so it's crystal clear. The family never said no. They said, we want to be in the room when it happens. They said, we want oversight. They said, we want an independent forensic expert present. And think about why that matters. Their letter specifically raised using college with possible involvement from the FBI and asked prosecutors to help coordinate a mutually agreeable date and process. That is not what a cover-up looks like. That is what a family looks like when they don't trust the process. And after everything that's happened in this case, can you blame them? Because here's the thing about that phone. Christine Wansley already saw something on it, and what she saw, or rather, what she didn't see, is the reason she's fighting this hard. She told Good Morning America that when family members reviewed Wells's phone after it was returned, they found no Snapchat videos or images on either of his accounts. She said the absence of content was particularly concerning because Wells routinely took photos and videos at social gatherings. She said that led family members to believe material may have been deleted. Think about the mechanics of that for a second. Nolan Wells documented everything. 18 years old, active on Snapchat, the kind of kid whose phone tells a story. He had 2 Snapchat accounts, 2, and on July 4th, the single most significant day of his life, a holiday, a boat trip, an island party with hundreds of people, music, friends, both accounts were completely empty. No snaps, no stories, no videos, no location data saved, nothing. Either Nolan didn't touch his phone at all on July 4th, or someone made sure it looked that way. And one of the friends offered an explanation for the phone situation. Tresistin Shepard told ABC News that Nolan wanted to stay on the island because he met a girl. He said Nolan and the rest of their friends kept their phones on the boat because they were in salt water and didn't want to ruin their devices. Okay, the phones left with them. That's the explanation. A mix-up, an accident. Nobody had a reason.
I'm telling y'all, do y'all think, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think that Nolan really didn't know Katie, but they really did know Katie? So that's why they used Katie, because Nolan really didn't know her and she didn't know Nolan, but they know, because we know that they do know Katie. We know that for a fact that they know Katie. So Nolan may not knew Katie, but they knew Katie because we know that. So that's why they used Katie and said that Nolan stayed back with a unknown girl, but they was trying to act like they didn't know Katie at the time until it panned out to be true that they did know Katie. But see, Katie came back out and said that she left, her family picked her up, and she don't know where Nolan went after that. What do y'all think? The one had got the phone, and yeah, we know Warren had that phone for a fact. We definitely know that. Allegedly, Warren brother Carter was fighting, and Nolan recorded it on the phone. That Auntie, that's what I put on my community wall this weekend. Y'all didn't read it? I put it on my community wall this weekend. And I said, y'all tell me what y'all feel about it, because I did not know it was true or not. But then I started hearing a lot of people Sunday talking about it. Yeah. Yep. They said Warren Brother Carter was fighting. Yes. Now I do believe it was a fight. I do believe it definitely was a fight. And I do believe, you know, maybe Nolan could have was recording it. They could have got upset. Cause one time I was thinking, damn, did Nolan get in a fight with one of them and things got out of hand? I was thinking that because I didn't know what to think. Because if I remember I was saying one time, do y'all think they was telling Nolan get on the boat and Nolan was getting on the boat and something else popped off? They could have gotten into a little disagreement, something popped off, and Nolan got hurt. But yeah, Auntie, I did hear that too. I definitely heard that one.
To touch Nolan's phone. But if nobody touched the phone, then where did the Snapchat data go? Because here's what the family found. When his parents recovered his phone, they found his Snapchat accounts wiped clean and location data that conflicted with what they knew of their son and what his friends described. Notice this, not just empty, wiped clean. And the location data didn't match. That's two separate problems, missing content and contradictory location information. That's not a glitch. That's not a settings error. That is a pattern that investigators know how to read. And this is where the digital forensics become critical. New subpoenas filed request information tied to Wells' accounts on Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, Meta platforms, and Life 360. Mississippi attorney Gary Bufkin filed the subpoenas as part of the independent investigation into Wells' death. They're going after messages, photos, videos, GPS data, timestamps, because even if content was deleted from the device itself, the platform servers may still hold copies. A retired FBI agent, Kieran Ramsey, told News Nation that investigators may be able to recover several layers of data from the 18-year-old Snapchat account, even if information was deleted. Ramsey said he believes the FBI has likely already sent out tons of preservation letters and said authorities can follow it up with grand jury subpoenas if need be. So the data may still exist, somewhere on a server, somewhere in a backup. The question is who's actually trying to get it, who's been slowing that process down, and who benefits from the family looking like the problem. Because right now, that's exactly what's happening. The family is being framed as the obstacle. And that brings us to Officer Tatum. Brandon Orlando Tatum, also known as the Officer Tatum, is an American YouTuber, conservative political commentator, author, radio personality, former policeman, and former college football player. He's known for creating conservative political commentary, law enforcement analysis, and Christian faith-based content. He is a former Tucson police officer. He traveled to Mississippi. He positioned himself as a fact finder, someone cutting through the noise, someone who was going to get the real story from the people who were actually there. And to his credit, he did something no other major commentator had done. He sat down with the friends, face to face, on camera. TMZ reported that it had obtained exclusive clips of attorney Tyler Cox and his clients, Warren Hudson, Jack Spitalo, and Morgan Seymour, sitting down for an interview on the Officer Tatum show. During the interview, the three friends complained that they wished they had never gone on the trip to Horn Island in the first place. They said they believed Nolan would still be alive if they had stayed home. And then Tatum took it further. He didn't just...
Why y'all feel like that? What happened? Y'all didn't feel like that last year. Why y'all feel like that this year? Because something happened to him and y'all know what happened and y'all don't want to come forward and be honest to say what happened to Nolan. That's why y'all wish y'all wouldn't have went there this year. Yeah, that's why. I can guarantee you that's how y'all feeling.
Interview the three friends represented by Cox. He interviewed a friend named Treston Shepard, who gave a separate account of events. Now, Treston's name has been all over this case. He's described himself as one of Nolan's best friends. He appeared on Tatum's show and gave an emotional account. Tatum said shared photos with him showing two at together and described multiple occasions. And on camera, Tatum said Tristan was visibly emotional. He said, "I don't know why a young man would say that he's friends and literally be emotional when he talked about Nolan. I mean, he literally cried and teared up off camera. Fair enough. That's what Tatum observed. And I'm there to your vehicle in someone's yard doesn't mean that they have to know you," he said. Sit with that for a moment. The stepfather of the deceased is being asked about a young man who's all over national television claiming to be Nolan's best friend. And his response is, "I don't know who that is. Parking in someone's yard doesn't make you family." Now, either Tristan is telling the truth and the stepfather simply never met him. That's possible. 18-year-olds have lives their parents don't always see. Or the family is right and Tristan's closeness to Nolan has been overstated, maybe significantly. And the reason this matters is because Tristan's account directly shapes the counter-narrative. Tristan, who is biracial, denied doing anything to harm Nolan and disputed an assertion made by Crump that race could have played a factor in what happened that day. Tatum previously said he didn't believe race was a factor in Wells's death. In this situation, it does not appear that race was a factor, he said in a video. So what you have is an outside commentator who entered this case, interviewed people the family doesn't recognize as close to Nolan, and then used those interviews to publicly challenge the family's narrative. He positioned Tristan as a credible voice. He positioned the three friends as cooperative and remorseful, and he positioned the family as the ones creating problems. Whether that's journalism or agenda, you decide. But the result is clear. An Emmy Award-winning sports journalist, Jemele Hill, commented on the situation. She said on Threads, "Choosing to do that podcast in particular is quite the choice. The backlash was significant. And here's what got largely lost in the noise of the Tatum interviews. Tatum went back to Mississippi to interview the young men that were with Nolan Wells a second time. A second time. Think about that. A commentator with no official role in this investigation made two separate trips to interview the friends. Meanwhile, the family's phone still hasn't been jointly examined. Where is the energy going in this case? Who's getting access? And who's being treated like they have something to hide? Because while all of this was playing out in public, something else was happening to Christine Wansley. On August 5th, attorney Ben Crump issued a statement after Christine Wells Wansley was notified that the Mississippi Board of Nursing had opened a professional misconduct investigation against her based on a complaint filed by an anonymous person. An anonymous complaint. According to Crump, Wansley has spent her entire career caring for patients in Mississippi without a single prior complaint to the Board of Nursing. After Nolan's body was found, she took a leave of absence to bury her child and search for answers. It was only after she began asking questions about her son's death that the anonymous complaint was filed. I need you to think about the timing of that. Her son dies on July 4th. She buries him. She starts asking questions publicly. She hires attorneys. She does press conferences. She goes on Good Morning America. And then someone anonymously files a complaint against her nursing license. Nothing about her practice changed. The only thing that changed is that she started asking questions. Crump's words were direct. This is a warning shot at a grieving mother meant to pressure and scare her into staying quiet. Attacking a grieving mother's career does not answer the question of what happened to Nolan. It tells us the question matters and the answer is scaring somebody. And then the Board of Nursing responded. Christine Wansley said that the Mississippi Board of Nursing closed the professional misconduct case. The complaint against Christine Wells Wansley has been closed, and it should never have been filed in the first place. It was frivolous, it was unfounded, and it was never about patient care. It was an attempt to distract a grieving mother and intimidate her into silence. Closed, just like that, because there was nothing there. But the damage wasn't just the complaint itself. Supporters say Christine Wansley has been targeted with one-star reviews on her professional profile amid the ongoing case. One-star reviews on a nurse practitioner's professional page from people who've never been her patients. Wansley said the complaint caused additional pain during an already devastating period. So let me lay out what happened to this woman in the span of 5 weeks. She lost her son. She was told his phone came back with data missing. She asked for a transparent investigation. She got a 48-hour deadline she couldn't meet. She was publicly accused of refusing to cooperate. She had her nursing license targeted by an anonymous complaint. Her professional profile was review bombed. And she received hate mail in the days before her son's funeral. That is not coincidence. That is a campaign. And nobody with a platform.
And why would they give her a 48 hours deadline that she couldn't meet, knowing she was out of town? You know, they traveling and stuff, you know, trying to get the word out what happened to her son, you know, going on podcasts and stuff, traveling around the world. They know the lady couldn't do it in 48 hours. She wasn't even at home. So I think that was done on purpose also.
Large enough to reach millions has connected those dots the way they need to be connected. Until now. Until Just Brit and Nerdy Pink Panda started pulling receipts. But before we get into exactly what those receipts show, and I promise you we are getting there, we need to talk about one more thing, because there's a piece of this that everyone keeps glossing over. The official state autopsy is still sealed. The DA says a grand jury will eventually review it with no date attached. No date, not next month, not this fall, eventually. The family's independent autopsy came back undetermined, in part because parts of Nolan's throat were missing by the time their own pathologist examined the body. I'm going to let you sit with that. Parts of his throat were missing. State medical examiners kept portions of Wells's body for further study, which experts say is not unusual. That's the official
Now, y'all, I don't know. Detective Griffin, auntie, you in here? I had to stop this for you. Now, you see this picture right here, y'all? The lady that I just played, right, on this video, the white girl from TikTok, she's saying this picture could be AI. If I can find that video, I'm going to bring it up. If not today, whenever I find it. And I'm going to let her explain to y'all what was her findings in this picture. I can't explain it the way she explained it, but she explained it. It's a lot of things that she's seen in this picture that she felt that was not right. Yeah. But if I find the video, I'll play it this week if I can come across. I can't remember where I seen it at, but I did see it, and she was talking about it. She talked about the background, the sky, everything. She talked about it.
Explanation. They retain tissue samples. And forensic experts will tell you that happens in death investigations. It's standard procedure. But the result of that standard procedure is that the family's independent pathologist couldn't complete a full examination. The cause and manner of death came back undetermined. Not because there was no evidence, but because the evidence was incomplete. The family's attorney, Ahmad Smith, sent a letter asking prosecutors to help their pathologist, Dr. Roger Mitchell, get access to materials from the first autopsy. So the family is asking for oversight of the phone examination. They're asking for access to the first autopsy's retained materials.
Yeah,
they're
that's what
asking
she
for
said.
Snapchat
Yeah.
data. They're asking for Life 3.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said that she said the skyline was different. Yes. And she said something about the legs and all of that. That girl, man, she be breaking some shit down. I ain't gonna lie. Her and that Kimberly, they be breaking it down. I ain't gonna lie. They really, really do. I don't have TikTok, but I follow them on Instagram.
60 records. They're asking for every single digital breadcrumb that might tell them what happened to their son on that island. And at every turn, someone is either slowing the process down, changing the terms, or attacking Christine personally. What does that look like to you? Now think about this. 3 out-of-state people have been arrested in separate cases for alleged violent threats made to people and agencies on the Mississippi coast. The threats per unsealed federal.
Is that true that someone else got arrested this weekend? Is that true? They said it was a black guy. I seen it on Facebook. I don't know if it's true or not because there's so much AI going around out here, y'all. So I don't know, child. It is too much. I seen so much AI this weekend. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
Complaints were directed toward people and offices seemingly in connection to the Nolan Wells case. An Illinois man allegedly made death threats to multiple people over the phone on July 31st. He also allegedly threatened to kill police officers during the multiple calls and texts. An Ohio woman allegedly made similar calls on July 23rd to the George County Chancery Clerk's office and also allegedly called in bomb threats to that office and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Federal arrests, bomb threats, death threats, calls coming from out of state. This case has escalated beyond anything that a simple accidental drowning would generate. And that's not because...
Okay, you say you've seen it, but not sure if it's true. Okay, gotcha, because I don't know it's true neither, because it's just too much AI going on for me. I don't know what the hell to believe.
The public is irrational. It's because the information vacuum created by sealed autopsy results, delayed phone examinations, and shifting narratives has bred exactly the kind of chaos that makes a real investigation harder. And that chaos benefits one group of people, the ones who don't want the phone examined. Notice this. Every single week since Nolan's death, a new distraction has emerged. Week 1, it was the friend's story versus the family's story. Week 2, it was the independent autopsy and the missing throat tissue. Week 3, it was Officer Tatum and Trayston Shepard. Week 4, it was the nursing board complaint. Week 5, it was the phone refusal narrative. And every single week, the actual phone remains unexamined. 6 weeks. 6 weeks and counting.
No, I ain't hear about that, Scorpio. What the hell? No, I ain't hear about that. Mm-mm. I don't know why they keep saying. Right. I noticed that. Did you notice that too, Auntie? Yes, they keep talking about some he's his stepdaddy. That's trying to throw a shot at him. You know, that's why I say, y'all, they was never Nolan friends. They was never Nolan friends. Okay, never. Stop all that. We was his friend. We loved him. We wouldn't have did nothing to hurt him. You know, we didn't do anything to hurt him. We're proving our innocence. No, because you wouldn't keep taking shots at the mother. You taking shots at the father. You think this father gonna come out here and do all of this if this wasn't his son? I mean, don't get me wrong. You got some moms are married to guys that's not their kid's father, and they will go to bat for those kids too. But this is this man's real son, and you knows that. But you doing it at those shots so people can start looking at this family different. See, I know what he doing. Mm-hmm. Like that's sad. That's sad. It seems that I'm not sure if it's real though. Okay. Yeah, Auntie, I don't know what's real and what's not. It's like, I don't know. You gotta be smart enough to what you feel. Like if you feel it ain't true, it ain't true. You know, because there's so much. I know one lady, she did a video Sunday, and I knew damn well that was AI, and said that one of the boys got locked up for Nolan case, and it's all over the news. So I wrote in her chat and was like, well, what news station is this on? Because I'm fucking confused, okay? I said, let me go see what news station. You know, and I started reading everybody like, that's AI. I said, I knew it. Like, you can't be sitting out here posting stuff just for clicks and views and, you know, forget traffic in your chat and all of that stuff. Like, that stuff is just crazy to me. I always tell you, I don't care who come in my chat and who don't. Like, if I got to put fake stuff to get people in my chat, well, it's just not going to happen because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit here and put out fake information. Like, that shit is crazy. It just don't make no sense. So when I seen that, you know, I did go in her chat and I was like, well, what news station did you hear that on? Because I would love to go find it. Girl, that lady ain't never say nothing. I'm like, oh my God. And then one person was like, yo, this is fake, y'all. If this shit was real, this shit would have viral, breaking news everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, you right. You right. Like, I don't know what's wrong with these people, y'all. They just, I don't know. But we would be wrong asking who Is Carter dad? Yes, absolutely. Maybe we should ask who is Carter.
An 18-year-old is dead.
Auntie.
His phone may hold the single most important evidence in this entire investigation. And as of right now, not one forensic examiner has conducted a full download. This is not just a question of what happened to Nolan Wells on Horn Island. This is the story of what happened after. This brings us to the receipts, the ones Just Brit and Nerdy Pink Panda surfaced. And the reason those clips matter is because they connect dots that the mainstream coverage keeps treating as separate stories. They show you the pattern behind the pattern, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. We're going to break those down piece by piece when we come back. So let's get into these receipts, and I'm going to walk you through them carefully. Because the reason Just Brit and Nerdy Pink Panda's content matters is not because they're making accusations. It's because they're doing something very simple. They're putting statements next to each other, side by side. Date stamped, and when you do that, the contradictions speak for themselves. What Nerdy Pink Panda has been doing, based on publicly available photos, statements, and information, is her own analysis. She believes certain details deserve a closer look and encourages people to examine the evidence for themselves. And that's the right approach. Look at the evidence, decide for yourself, but look at all of it, not just the parts that confirm what you already think. And that's exactly what these creators have been surfacing. The first receipt centers on the contradictions around Katie McCormack. Now you already know the name. She's the young woman the friends say Nolan stayed behind to talk to. According to the Daily Mail, the woman Wells was reportedly speaking with before he disappeared has been identified as 19-year-old Katie McCormack. The friend's story is clear. Nolan wanted to stay with Katie. He told them to go. He'd find another ride. End of story. But Katie's own family tells a different version. Katie had a conversation and assumed that Nolan was getting ready to get on the boat he came out on, Gracie McCormack told the Daily Mail. Katie assumed the friends telling him to get on the boat wouldn't have left him. Read that again, slowly. Katie assumed they wouldn't leave him. She thought he was getting on the boat. The friends say he refused to get on the boat. Those two things cannot both be true. And Ben Crump laid it out plainly. She's saying he went to get on the boat. They're saying he didn't get on the boat. Somebody must not be telling the truth. That's not speculation. That's a direct logical contradiction between two accounts. And it's the kind of contradiction that Just Brit
That's right.
and Nerdy Pink Panda have been highlighting clip by clip, statement by statement. Now here's where it gets deeper. The friends say Nolan chose to stay. They say they begged him to leave. Warren Hudson claims someone in the group was panicking, allegedly yelling, "Nolan, get the F on the boat." That's the picture they're painting. A group of friends desperate to bring Nolan home and a stubborn teenager who refused. But Nolan didn't have his phone. Remember that. Whatever happened on that island, Nolan was left without his phone on an uninhabited barrier island.
Well, if Nolan didn't want to get on that mother-sucking boat, okay, I would have called his mother right away, told his mother, and I would have gave him his phone. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have took off with his goddamn phone if he didn't want to get on the boat. What was the purpose of you telling him to get on the boat, but Nolan wanted to stay behind, but you kept Nolan's phone? Why didn't you give Nolan his phone? Okay? You knew you had the phone. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard him say that he had Jovan's phone too. Did any one of y'all hear that he had Jovan's phone too? I call bullshit. Absolutely.
10 miles from the mainland, with no way to call for help, no way to call his parents, no way to reach anyone. And his parents have been clear about that. They expressed disbelief that Wells had stayed on that while they were searching the island on July 5th, their service was perfectly fine. To me, that's two lies I was told as a father, Elmore said, getting emotional. Two lies. The friend said Nolan stayed voluntarily. Katie's family says she assumed he was getting on the boat. The friend said there was no cell service on the island. The family says they had service when they went looking.
So
Notice this. Each of these contradictions has been documented.
Real?
Not by major news networks first, by independent creators who pulled clips, matched dates,
Oh, for
and said,
real? So he lied about having Jovan phone too? Wow. If I was Jovan's mother, she'd better keep her two sons away from these snakes. These is snakes. And I know we don't have to tell her to do that because she's going to definitely do it. I know she's definitely going to make sure that her kids have no more contact with these snakes. They is snakes, honey. They are not good people like their lawyer trying to say they are. They are snakes. They are cover-ups. They are evil. They are demonic. They're not true friends to nobody but themselves. Okay. And they right when they say, Mississippi is a small net community. We know the fuck y'all is for yourselves. Okay. Don't put the whole community. They say we are a small group and we are connected. And we stick up and we take up for each other. Speak for yourselves. Don't speak for the whole community. Because I don't think the whole community probably like y'all. Maybe not all of them, some of them.
hey, does anybody else see what I'm seeing? And that's exactly what the receipts are. Pattern recognition, statement matching, accountability.
I remember that, Scorpio.
Now let's talk about the enhanced audio, because this is a piece of the puzzle that got enormous public attention, and it deserves careful handling. The recording at the center of it is the July 4th call one of Nolan Wells' friends made to Ceto, a private towing company, around 4 p.m. as the group's boat took on water near the west tip of Horn Island. In the original call, the teen can be heard saying, "Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking." Now, TMZ enhanced that audio, and that's where the debate exploded. It sounds like someone in the...
Okay, Jovan mother is calling them out. So what is she saying? Thank you, Auntie Barbara. Hey, Ashley. So when was this, y'all? Was this over the weekend or was it last week? Because I don't follow Jovan mom. I knew she had a Facebook, but I don't follow her. So what is she saying? Well, shut your mouth.
background might be saying, "Is he dead?" Some folks online also swear they hear someone saying Nolan right before you can clearly hear someone say, "Oh my God." In other parts of the call, it seems like someone might have said, "Check his chest," and "Wake up." Now I want to be very disciplined here. None of those interpretations have been confirmed, and the muffled conversation leaves plenty of room for people to hear different things. And this is critical.
Okay, she said that Warren got slick out the mouth and her son had to check him. Okay. Sonya girl, what's going on, my love? Over the weekend, check your... Okay, she did. Okay, got it. Ooh, I like her, y'all, but sometimes I can't listen to it with all that screaming. I can't listen to a lot of people when that shit messes my mind up. I like some content creators, but when they get with all that screaming and yelling, I can't play that stuff. Ooh, it's just too much. Just get to the point. Over the week, okay, she said yes, last night and this morning. Y'all, what is her Facebook? Can anybody put in the chat? Give me her Facebook.
A forensic expert actually challenged the enhanced version. Digital forensics expert Robert Freed says he could not corroborate TMZ's claims of hearing phrases like, "Is he dead?" in the enhanced version after comparing it to the original recording.
Oh, y'all, but what I did see over the weekend, the lady Ashley, the one that, redid the voice over, for the call, she spoke out again, her and her wife, and they still attacking her. And I see Mr. Potato did something on her and all of that stuff. And, she said she now keep explaining herself and all of that. And people's in her comments saying she was lying. And y'all, she said the same exact thing I said. If y'all want to attack somebody, go attack Vicky, which is the lady that accepted the call. She was the one that was the caller that day on the 911 call. Why y'all not attacking her? That came from her call, and it came from them putting it out. So why are y'all attacking Ashley? She was right, and I've been said that. Why haven't somebody tried to find her? Go find Vicky. Interview Vicky. Vicky could be the one to tell y'all a lot. Maybe Vicky ain't gonna come out and speak. Maybe she can't say nothing. I don't know what the hell is going on. But Vicky got to be the one that come out and speak. Okay, that was the call, and she may not do it because she may be in cahoots with them also. So she may not do shit.
Freed said the TMZ version of the recording is 20 seconds longer than the original and has a different digital fingerprint. 20 seconds longer, different digital fingerprint. That's not a minor discrepancy. That's a forensic red flag. So we have two possibilities. Either TMZ's enhancement captured background voices that were always there but inaudible, or the enhanced version has been altered in ways that introduce sounds that aren't in the original. And right now, no official source has verified either interpretation. But here's what matters. The original, unenhanced call still raises questions on its own. It is a chaotic, panicked call, and on its face, it documents a boat in trouble and nothing more. But the dispatcher is asking basic questions that the caller struggles to answer. How high is the water? How many people are on the boat? The caller can't give clear answers to simple questions during what should be a straightforward emergency call. You can clearly hear the caller yell, "Shut the fuck," to someone on that boat.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Yeah, ask Vicky. And you can clearly hear Vicky ask, is everyone breathing? So why not to get mad at Vicky? Come on, you got to go to Vicky with that. And like I said, maybe Vicky ain't gonna come out and speak, or maybe Vicky in cahoots with him. I don't know. I'm just saying. But it is kind of strange that, she haven't said anything. Maybe she's talking to authorities behind the scene. I don't know that neither. You know what I'm saying? But Vicky is the one that they need to ask questions to, not no one else, not social media. Social media is only putting out what was already put out. And social media is doing what they want to do, say what they heard, what they didn't hear. So you can't get mad at social media with social media, though.
In the middle of an emergency call, who was he telling to shut up and why? The family's legal team noticed the same thing. Forensic audio specialists are reviewing the complete CETO emergency.
What you say? They got to tuck away. Hey, that's a good question. Why she so silent? Yeah, that's what I said too. Why? Because she was the one that took the call. She would be the only one. She spoke to Grandpa. She spoke to the captain. Hey, it is what it is. And maybe Vicky don't want to speak. Karen said Vicky did her job right. They were told to cover this up from the higher. Ooh. I believe that.
Call from July 4th, while ocean engineering experts are examining how Wells' body ultimately came to be recovered near the northwestern tip of Horn Island. We want to know, how is that possible with the oceanic tides, Crump said. And that brings us to the body recovery itself, because this is the part that very few people are talking about, and the creators who've been pulling receipts are among the only voices raising it consistently. Nolan was last seen at the west tip of Horn Island. His body was found at the northwestern tip. Crump said the team is currently working with oceanic engineering experts to examine how and why Wells's body was found in the same location where he was last seen. Think about the mechanics of that for a second. If Nolan drowned, if he went into the water, if the tides carried him, his body should have moved. The Gulf of Mexico has currents. It has tidal patterns. Bodies don't typically stay in the exact area where they entered the water, not after 2 days, not with the tidal changes between July 4th and July 6th, unless he didn't enter the water where they say he did. Or unless he didn't enter the water when they say he did. The oceanic engineering analysis may answer that question, but until it does, the fact that his body was found essentially where he was last reportedly seen is a detail that nobody has adequately explained. And that's what the independent analytical review flagged. A newly completed independent analytical review of photographs, videos, still leaves a material gap in the timeline between Wells's last independently corroborated sighting and the reported departure of the boat. A material gap. That's the language investigators use when something doesn't add up. Not suspicious, not criminal. A gap, a hole in the story that hasn't been filled. The 22-page report stresses that it reaches no conclusion about criminal or civil responsibility and instead identifies evidence investigators may still need to resolve unanswered questions.
Okay.
22 pages of analysis, no conclusion, just questions that haven't been answered and a gap that hasn't been closed. Now let me bring in the expert voice here because this is where the ground shifts. Former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer weighed in on the case publicly. When you add it all together, what we see publicly seems to be an accident, she said, weighing in on the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. And I want to give that perspective its full weight. A former FBI agent looked at what's publicly available and said it seems accidental. That matters. That's not a random opinion. That's someone with investigative experience making an assessment. But she also added a caveat. I doubt if this, what we know, will come back with the truth, she said, warning more details could still emerge. So even the person saying it looks like an accident is also saying, we probably don't have the full picture yet, and that's honest. That's the kind of expert voice this case needs. Not certainty, honesty about uncertainty. About 60 witnesses have been interviewed as investigators piece together Nolan Wells's final hours on Horn Island. 60 witnesses, and we still have a material gap in the timeline. What does it take to close that gap? The phone, the Snapchat data, the Life 360 records, the GPS timestamps, the platforms that have been subpoenaed.
I think he's right. I think a lot of that stuff going to close a lot of gaps. If they find anything in that phone that was missing, the time, any text messages, anything dealing with social media. I think a lot of these times that we see there's a little off. I think he's right. Maybe that will close a lot of gaps, once they get the phone and do what they got to do with the phone.
Forensic download that still hasn't happened. And here's where the legal picture stands right now, because I want to be precise. The case is now headed to a Mississippi grand jury, which will decide whether anyone is charged in Nolan's death. The district attorney says evidence will stay out of public view until the grand jury reviews it first, a move prosecutors say is meant to protect the integrity of the investigation. Every death in the county, except those of natural causes and non-criminal car wrecks, is presented to your grand jury, District Attorney Angel Myers McIlrath said. So presenting this to a grand jury doesn't automatically mean someone is being charged. It doesn't mean foul play. It's standard procedure. The DA has been clear about that. And to be fair, that is how her office handles death investigations. That's on the record. But the family's attorney, Eric Hertz, has indicated a possible timeline. Attorney Eric Hertz told NPR he believes that the case could go before a grand jury in just under 30 days. He said that's based on the timeline of evidence he's seen. 30 days, that would put us somewhere in mid to late September. And he did not indicate who might be the subject of that review, but several of Wells's friends have retained high-profile lawyers in case of wrongful death suits and to potentially file defamation suits. Notice this, the friends haven't been charged with anything. They're not suspects, at least not publicly, but they've lawyered up, not just with one attorney, with multiple high-profile attorneys for what they say was an accident where their friend decided to stay behind. If it was truly that simple, what are the defamation suits for? What are the wrongful death defenses for? That level of legal preparation doesn't match the story being told publicly. It matches something else. It matches people who expect this to escalate. And at the federal level, the pressure is mounting. National congressional leaders are pushing for federal oversight as local law enforcement continues investigating. The Congressional Black Caucus issued a letter to the U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Kash Patel calling for a federal review of the case. Chair of the caucus, Representative Yvette D. Clarke of New York, wrote that the scant information from local investigators has her and other members of the caucus concerned. The Congressional Black Caucus, writing directly to the Attorney General, calling for federal review. That doesn't happen for every accidental drowning in Mississippi. That happens when elected officials look at a case and see enough institutional red flags to demand outside eyes. And here's what the family's letter to the DA stated, according to their attorney, Ahmad Smith. The letter suggests that the phone has yet to be examined by either Wells's attorneys or law enforcement. Neither side. As of the most recent reporting, nobody has forensically examined that phone. Not the family's team, not law enforcement, nobody. The letter also indicates that the forensic pathologist, Dr. Roger Mitchell, who conducted the initial independent autopsy, has yet to review other materials. So the independent pathologist can't complete his work. The phone hasn't been examined. The state autopsy results are sealed. The grand jury has no date. And in the meantime, the friends are doing national media tours with Officer Tatum while the mother's nursing license gets attacked. What picture does that paint for you? Now I want to bring this back to something that should anchor everything you've heard today, because this case has generated a level of public emotion that, in some instances, has crossed lines. A man was also arrested for making threats toward a public official connected to the case. Court documents show Joseph Mars of California was arrested for making a social media threat toward Chancery Court Judge Ashley Cole, who's the mother of one of Wells's friends. That is unacceptable. Full stop. There have also been bomb threats, death threats to police officers, calls to county offices from people in other states. The Attorney General and others said earlier this week they are cracking down on people making threats during the investigation. And I need to say this clearly. Threatening people is not justice. Threatening judges is not advocacy. Calling in bomb threats to government offices is not helping Nolan's family. It is making their fight harder. It is giving ammunition to the people who want to dismiss the family's legitimate questions as mob behavior. And it needs to stop. Because here's what the family actually wants. And this is what gets lost in the noise. They want a transparent investigation. They want the phone examined with oversight. They want the state autopsy results released. They want.
I mean, I feel like this should have no overbearing to this family. This family don't have nothing to do with these people making these threats at all. They don't even know these people. They don't know everybody across the world. They didn't tell these people to do this. They don't know these people. So why should it make it look bad for them? You know, I feel like no, that it shouldn't be like that because they don't know these people. You know, they can't stop these people from doing what they're doing. I mean, she comes out here, she states that, you know, she don't want no violence. And, you know, she even came out here and stated when they protest, the police protest peacefully. You know, she didn't want no problems or anything like that because she do want justice for her son. Before it's all these people all across the world, she don't have no control of those people. Excuse me, about the phone calls they calling people, threatening people. That lady have no control over that at all. That's way out of her league.
I want the grand jury to see everything, not just the official narrative, everything. A thorough investigation must be completed, and the district attorney must put every relevant fact before the grand jury. Nothing held back. Nothing overlooked. That's Crump. That's the. And the stepfather, Elmore Wansley, said something that should sit with every parent listening to this. We always taught him, if you go with a group, you stay with the group. If you go with
Karen,
five.
I heard that. I'll put that on my community wall this weekend too.
You come back with 5. Do not separate from the group. He always said, yes, sir. So he knew to stay with his group. That's a father talking about his son, a son who listened, a son who followed the rules, a son who, according to his parents, would never have voluntarily.
Yep, and I believe that's why Nolan Paul was hollering, give me my fucking phone. Yep.
Stayed on an uninhabited island without his phone, without transportation, without a plan. And if the friend's story is true, if Nolan really did choose to stay behind, then a young man made an impulsive decision on a hot July afternoon and paid for it with his life. That's a tragedy, a real, devastating, preventable tragedy. But if the friend's story isn't true, then what happened on that island is something else entirely. And the evidence, the phone data, the Snapchat records, the GPS timestamp.
Hey, my open book. How are you, sweetie girlie?
The oceanic analysis, the material gap in the timeline, all of it needs to be examined. All of it needs to see the light of day. Because right now, investigators have completed the state's autopsy, prosecutors are preparing to present evidence to a grand jury, attorneys on both sides are positioning for possible civil litigation. Yet one question remains unanswered. What happened during the final hours before the 18-year-old disappeared on Horn Island? That question has been open for 6 weeks, and every week the information vacuum grows. And into that vacuum, as the family's attorney put it, people rush to fill it. As more information becomes public, many people are asking whether the full story has been told. Every new piece of evidence, photo, or statement is being closely examined by those following the case. Ultimately, the truth will come from a thorough investigation and the evidence, not rumors or assumptions. And that's the final point I want to leave you with today. The receipts that Just Brit and Nerdy Pink Panda have been surfacing are not gossip. They're not drama. They're accountability. They are citizens doing what citizens do in a democracy when institutions move slowly and information is withheld. They compare statements. They check timelines. They ask questions. And they put it all in front of you and say, look, decide for yourself. That is not irresponsible. That is necessary. But it only works if we stay disciplined, if we separate what's confirmed from what's interpreted, if we name our sources, if we flag our assumptions, if we hold space for the possibility that this case may end differently.
She said, Scorpio, if that's the lesson, if that's what happened, that doesn't give them a right to unalive him. Facts. That's true. That's facts. Absolutely, I agree.
We expect in any direction, because this is not a TikTok trend. This is not content. This is an 18-year-old kid who went to an island with his friends on the 4th of July and never came home. His name is Nolan Xavier Wells. He was a football player. He was a son. He was somebody's everything. And his mother, Christine Wansley, has spent every day since July 6th fighting, not for vengeance, not for a viral moment, for answers, for a transparent process, for the right to know what happened to her child. And remember what happened when she started asking. An anonymous complaint against her nursing license, 1-star reviews on her professional profile, a 48-hour phone deadline she couldn't meet because she was out of town, a public narrative calling her uncooperative. That is what fighting for your child looks like in this case. And the fact that she's still standing, still speaking, still demanding accountability tells you everything you need to know about who Christine Wansley is. So here's the question we started with. And it's the same question we're sitting with right now. Nolan Wells phone refused. Officer Tatum and new receipts change everything.
Officer Potato is...
The answer depends on you. They refused to hand it over without oversight. That's Officer Tatum's interviews changed the narrative? Yes, that happened. Whether it changed it toward truth or away from it is a question only the evidence can answer. Is it true that the receipts change everything? That's for you to decide. But when you line up the contradictions, the Katie McCormack discrepancy, the phone data, the enhanced audio questions, the material gap, the Congressional Black Caucus letter, the sealed autopsy, the nursing board complaint, something is not right. And the longer the answers take, the louder that truth becomes. We'll keep following this case, not for clicks, not for engagement, for Nolan, for Christine, for the principle that when an 18-year-old dies and the story doesn't add up, somebody with a microphone has an obligation to keep asking.
That's
if
right.
this case affected you, subscribe so you don't miss the next update.
Okay, y'all, I want y'all to see. Did y'all... Hold on, y'all. Let me try to take this off because I got the screen big here. All right, all right, there we go. So, Hold on. Now, let's see. One of my, he did a, I don't want to watch her live, her videos because she screamed too much. I can't, oh God, I can't take all that screaming. I'm sorry, y'all, but oof, all that screaming, that shit get on my nerves. I like to play people stuff that's gonna get straight to the point and just, you know, just talk. All that screaming, I just can't do it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Let's see. I can't deal with all that screaming and yelling. That shit fucks with my nerve. I think I seen a. I don't know if this is the one. All that screaming, girl. I can't take it, child. I can't. I can't do all that screaming. Yeah, I love her videos, but baby, she be screaming too loud for me. I be like, oh Lord, give me a god doggone headache. She funny though, I ain't gonna lie. I like her, she funny. Okay. Now, y'all, I remember a video I played for y'all a while back, and this a white attorney spoke out, and he was saying that he think it wasn't a good idea warning them to keep coming out, you know, like talking about the case and stuff like that. Well, let me find that video because he spoke out again. And let me see. Which video was it? Let me see. Man, he do so many videos. I can't keep up with Willie D. I ain't gonna lie. He do so many videos, y'all. I can't keep up. Oh, here we go. So let's check this video out, y'all.
Oh, protective of Bart more than any of them.
So let's see.
Oh my gosh. It's gonna be the skin tint for me every single time.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family? This is a tale of two friends.
You ain't
On
never
the left,
lied.
Warren Hudson.
You ain't.
Warren has been described as
a all
nice,
that screaming and yelling. I can't take
good,
it, girl.
Wholesome, decent, fine, earning young man.
Take it.
Any family, any parents would be proud to call a son. Nolan has been described as a good kid, very easy to get along, likable. Everybody liked him, endeared by all who has ever known him. He lit up the room when he would walk in. On July 4th, 2026, Nolan went missing after he was left on Horn Island by the guy to the left. His alleged best friend, let Warren tell it, his best friend, he left him on an island all by himself. Told him, hey man, get home the best way you can, so to speak. Next thing you know, Nolan comes up missing. Next thing you know, Nolan's body is discovered dead just 2 days later on July 6th. And ever since then, Warren has been given multiple detailed public interviews. Every interview, what Warren does not understand, creates a statement that can be checked. Oh, yeah. Now, it's important to note, a contradiction doesn't prove guilt, but important contradictions deserve explanations. And I got somebody who's going to offer an explanation here. This is Attorney Keith. Check out what he has to say about all of this.
Hey, TikTok, it's Keith the lawyer. I get kind of sucked into these cases. I make one video and then I see another thing. Oh, I need to comment on that too, and so on and so on. So I don't know if this is going to turn into some kind of series or if this will be the last one. But I want to comment again on what is happening with this Nolan Wells case. And particularly what is going on with his supposed best friend, Warren Hudson, who seems to be a person of interest. I don't know if he's actually under suspicion or what, but his name seems to be thrown around a lot whenever people are talking about the case. And I mentioned yesterday that he was committing the classic blunder of talking to the cops when no defendant, or suspected defendant, almost defendant, maybe defendant, no person like that should be talking to the cops in any respect whatsoever. But what this Warren Hudson guy is doing is actually the worst of all. He is creating a trap for himself. If he had any involvement, if he is remotely connected, he is creating a trap normally that law enforcement sets for you, but he is setting it for himself. And what he's doing is he is making statements. He is making specific statements about specific things that happen. I'm talking particularly here about his latest statement of, we tried to get Nolan to get on the boat. We begged him to get on the boat. He wouldn't get on the boat. It's things like this. You are locking yourself down to specific facts.
I don't know if half of y'all was in the chat when I said it, but if y'all look at Warren, y'all, he is losing a lot of weight. I went back to look at one of his pictures in the beginning, like when this first kicked off and happened, to the picture now on that interview. And y'all, his neck looks so skinny. I don't know if y'all noticed it. Look at his neck. Look how his face have sunk in. His legs and arms even look skinnier. This is just my opinion. I don't know. Have y'all been paying attention? But y'all, he looks not well. Okay? Like, Ooh, child. Ooh, baby. He is word to death, y'all. He probably ain't eating. He probably ain't sleeping. Listen, it's so many signs to this boy. I'm like Willie D to this mutt. Because, see, I like Willie D. He be calm and smooth and stuff like that. But Tisla, I like her too, but she yell too much. I can't take all that yelling. My brain can't take all that. I like Trey too. He yell too much too. I put in his comments one day, stop yelling. Like, I love his content, but I just can't play it all the time because I can't take that screaming. Oh, my Jesus. Just talk and all that yelling.
And what law enforcement does from that point is they either verify or disprove those specific facts. And once you start poking holes in somebody's story, what that leads to is statements of, oh, well, that's not what I meant. What I meant was this. You make another statement, they poke holes in that, and so on and so on. Classic law enforcement behavior, but this Warren Hudson guy is doing it for them. The cops just have to sit back and watch. Now, it's possible this guy had absolutely nothing to do with it, but if he did, if he is remotely involved, if he has information, he is committing just a classic blunder. He needs to keep his mouth shut. Don't talk to the cops. Don't go on a podcast and talk about it. It just boggles the mind sometimes what people do, things that they're not supposed to do. Anyhow, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Tell me in the comments. I appreciate everybody watching. This is Keith the lawyer.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a lawyer in Florida.
The lawyer.
You hear what he said? a lot of people that were good sense saying that they are doing too much. They're doing too much.
I ain't got no problem with that, but some of y'all do, so let's talk about it. Some of y'all really want this case to just go away. Ain't gonna happen. Yeah, man. Let's focus on Nolan's final hours.
Take a break from you.
Who was president?
Yeah, you have to. You have
what
to take
Nolan
a break from
allegedly said.
I do, and I'm a content creator.
And how he was supposed to get home. I mean, it ain't like
take all the breaks you need. You know what I'm saying? You got to protect your peace and things like that. You know, so I understand. I get it. I take breaks too on Saturdays and Sundays. Those my break days. I don't do anything. You know, maybe every once in a while on a Saturday I may drop a video, but it's not like every Saturday because you have to take a break. You really do. You don't have to be a content creator to take a break. Supporters, I feel like sometimes they need breaks too, you know? I mean, some of them don't, but, you know, I mean, I have to. But I get what you're saying.
Like you left him somewhere where there's a bus route or even where he could walk home, you know? He would have to either swim back to shore, catch a ride on a boat or a helicopter or something.
Right. Right.
Hey, listen, fam. You ain't got to listen to me. Listen to Warren. Listen to both versions. In fact, listen to all versions of the stories that he tells. Warren can't keep his mouth shut. Loose lips, same ships, man. You ain't heard? Did the Tatum interview backfire? We get to that on another one because I got something for that. I got something for that. The times, the locations, specific claims can potentially be compared with electronic and physical evidence. That's something they probably didn't think all the way through. Warren versus the evidence.
Baby, where you been? I ain't seen you in a while. I miss you too. Hey, what's been going on? How you been doing? How things going? I haven't seen you in a while. But thank you for coming through. I appreciate that.
So let's forget about the internet rumors for a moment. Let's compare Warren's claims against the GPS phone data, the videos, the photos, and other witnesses. That's all that really needs to be done. Because Warren ain't got to convince me. His story has to survive the evidence. You dig? Wow.
And another thing, y'all, I don't know if y'all noticed, but when it's like 4 or 5 people and something happened, it's always one person out of that group that everybody is afraid of, and they look up to that person. And I feel within my heart and my opinion that is Warren, because I watch their body language every time they went on a platform, watch their face expressions. I watch how every time Warren talks, they look right in his mouth. Okay? They agree with everything he say. Warren is a weak link. And if the right person get Warren by themselves and grill him and break him down to shit, Warren would crack under pressure. He just ain't got the right mother suckers to break him down because Warren is weak. Warren is weak, just how his face look and his body, weak. And see, he have not been on the real people podcasts, like the real news stations, because they would go for everything. They would break it down. He wouldn't be able to answer the right questions in a right manner because they would twist and turn and he wouldn't know which way they coming. See, he wouldn't be prepared for them. See, Mr. Potato prepare him before he talks to them. So that's why he feel comfortable and he know what to say and which way to go. See, these other people that's smart-minded and intelligent, they're not going to do that. They gonna work this like a goddamn police officer. You ain't gonna know which way, which angle they coming. You feel me? So that's why Warren does that. But Warren is a weak ass link. He weak.
Warren set his own trap. But his trap is not, it's not proof that he harmed Nolan, but it don't look good. One thing that he did, that all of these attorneys that I've spoken with said, I mean, every single attorney I've spoken with said the same thing.
Yeah, he weak, open book, he weak.
They said that, you know, when he started talking, he was committing himself publicly to increasingly specific details. That means the more he talks, the harder significant changes become to explain. No, well, you said this on this day. Well, no, you just, well, last time you said it. Well, look, when I talked to you 5 minutes ago, you said this. If Warren's telling the truth, the evidence should be his best friend. Right or wrong, fam? Right or wrong? If he's telling the truth. Warren, I do believe, has walked himself straight into a trap. And I think now, I'm going to tell you what I think he's going to do. I think he's gone down so far into that rabbit hole that he's going to continue to keep digging. I think he's going to keep digging. I don't think he's going to turn around and try to get out of there and say, oh, no, you know what? I'm just going to shut up. He's arrogant enough to think that he can explain away some of the things that he said. He's that arrogant. See, if you look at the entire case, if you look at it from an investigator standpoint, every interview he gives investigators another statement to check. Now, all they got to do is press play and compare his words to the evidence. And it's a wrap. It's a wrap. He's giving them a treasure trove of statements. Warren can't even keep up with his statement when he's doing an interview in the moment. He can't stay on track.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he put it out there. That's how we came to learn of Bart. Remember in the interview, he was saying Bart. He was like, Bart. At first he was like, my buddy, and then he slipped up and said Bart. And then I guess he thought, well, I put it out there already. Let me go and say his name again. He said Bart. And then he called himself and he's like, okay, my buddy. Went back to my buddy.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with this Bart thing? They just been really, really, really protective of Bart more than any of them. Warren has been more protective of Bart than he has of himself. And all of them are in survival mode. This is why
Yep, they are. They're in survival
they don't have
mode.
any tears for Nolan. They're in survival mode. They don't have any, they can't express any type of remorse.
They can't express no remorse because they don't have no remorse at all. And like he said, they are in survival mode. They're trying to keep their head above water so they can stay out here in the streets. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to lose their freedom. But Warren is weak, just like he look. He weak. And like I said again, that's why he goes on Mr. Potato podcast, because Mr. Potato, he have his little interviews on the back end with him, make sure he say this and say that. He don't want to say the wrong thing. But like I said, if he go on a smart person podcast that thinks logical and thinks like a goddamn police, you ain't got to be no goddamn police and have a degree to be smart, okay? Some people just naturally smart and can catch on to lies and deceptions, okay? So that's why he don't want to go on none of those podcasts. See, we already know what Mr. Potato is about. We know, he's trying to spin a narrative, make these boys look good and all this other extra shit. We knows that.
They're in survival mode. All of them.
Absolutely.
But one thing that I do know, this particular crime is so big. This particular case, not crime. It's not a crime. A crime hasn't been committed. This particular case is so big, it's going to be hard to just sweep under the rug. And going forward, just rumors and stuff like that that could occur in, let's say, normally in a case where something like this has happened, crimes have been committed, because nobody is there to give the family justice, the whole town, the whole city, the whole state can know what happened, and nothing will ever happen because the family has laid down and just accepted that they're not going to get justice. This is different. I don't think that this family is going to just lay down and not pursue justice. I think they're in it for the long haul.
Absolutely. Yeah. They better.
Again, this guy right here who said he was Nolan's best friend. Ooh, man, I thought, I always thought of a friend as someone who's your friend. Growing up, there used to be this little thing we used to say, you my friend to the end, till I die, you got lie. Remember that?
I remember.
I wonder if Nolan ever told Warren that. No more talk.
You'd be surprised, y'all. You really don't know what. Hold on. Let me just take this off.
Nolan Wells photo.
Hold on, y'all. Let me see, can I find that other one that I really want y'all to hear. Let's see, can I find it? Let's see, I think I can. Yeah, Warren is nervous, y'all. Shit, he might need some mental health over there because he's very nervous. He don't know what's going on. Yeah, he's very nervous over there, y'all. I think this is the one right here that I wanted to see. All right, let me see if this is the one. Because I do know he did. Hold on. Yeah. Let me see. I don't know if this is the one or not. With
they may have a belief that
this is the one here, y'all. Hold on. Let's take it back. Okay, this is the one.
break the plates and all that. No,
Yeah.
you family over here, so we can't even do that to you. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, today there's a big conference in Atlanta. There's an organization I'm a part of, the National Association of Black Journalists, that is happening in Atlanta. And a lot of my colleagues are there right now. And
and don't bring
we
them
had
back.
some very
So
important
I
speakers
had a
that
few,
appeared this
very
morning.
few friends.
But more importantly, we had the mother and father of Nolan Wells that spoke. As well, it was followed up with a press conference. We're going to play the press conference in a few minutes, but I want to talk about some of the things that I learned from the actual panel discussion that occurred this morning, where Miss Wansley spoke about the call that she received in the evening, and we're going to analyze this call, the call that she received in the evening around 11 o'clock. And she tells everyone, the panel, the audience, that she received a call from Warren. She received a call from Warren, basically alerting her that Warren is missing. Why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? After all these interviews that were done, especially on the Batum Tatum show, where this initial story wasn't that of someone who alerted the family about their missing friend. And I'm not going to play around with the word friend, because I got friends that watch my back. I got friends that will die for me. I got friends that will go to war with me. So this doesn't give me that. This was my friend. My friend would not have left me on a island and taking my phone and my keys with me, and I have no way to be able to communicate with anyone. That doesn't sound like a friend. What is this, Gilligan Island? So with that, Thelma, did you have an opportunity to listen to what the mother said this morning?
Absolutely.
What is your take on what she said about the call? This call is so important and so pivotal in this investigation that it concerns me. It was gut-wrenching for me hearing her tell a story.
Well, I would say one thing that stood out to me that the Clear people have failed to relay to the world on the Negro House podcast is y'all were trying to encourage her not to go searching for her son, telling her y'all will find Nolan. What?
That sounds like bullshit. I'm gonna be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I might have to say some words you might not be comfortable with, but that sounds like straight bullshit to me. Go ahead.
The fact that she saw her son's location being on the island, y'all get in contact with her, and y'all are saying, well, we have his phone. Why did she have to, at that moment, why did she just find out that y'all had her son's phone?
Good point. 11 o'clock at night, not early throughout the day. What happened from the time the CTO call was made until 11 o'clock at night that you thought it was important to call the mother when you had his phone and it was already pitch black outside? What went through your mind? What was that play
talk about that, y'all.
from the point of the CTO call until you called the mother saying that you had his phone and his keys, I might add.
Yeah. And I think what we were able to hear from them, because like recently we talked about the strategy that Crump's team was using. We was like, it's too loud right now. They literally readjusted. They readjusted to the point now that these other individuals are too loud, but we want them to be loud. So the way that Miss Christine was able to break down step by step, it is clear that something happened to her son that was causing a delay in them notifying her that her son was, it's 11 o'clock at night. Nolan's father stated his son would not have stayed on the island with a female, let alone without his phone.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I think people at this point, almost a month later, 2 months later, not a month, 2 months later, this is a problem. And what I'm going to say, and this is allegedly, but my gut is telling me, my instinct is telling me that something is amiss. Something that happened that they did not want the parents to interrupt whatever was happening. And I could speculate, and I said early on, if you guys go look at my previous videos, when we heard the autopsy report from the independent Dr. Mitchell, and things are missing, something happened to that boy. I don't think he drowned. I felt in my gut he didn't drown because
come on, Dennis.
you tell the mother you have someone, a contact at the what do you call it? Not National Guard, but you have a contact at the police. What is help me out here?
It's the Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard. I'm sorry. I'm flustered right now because I'm pissed off that the family had to be enduring this bull's crap. And this is all smoke and mirrors that the incompetent attorneys are doing now. They're playing a dangerous game, and they're trying to throw the scent off of these boys. And I don't think the scent should be thrown off these boys. It is pissing me off that they're playing in our face when we know logical people and reasonable people would not do what is being done right now. And it is a daggone shame that the family, the mother and the father had to listen to this crap and then listen to attorneys try to create a smoke screen. Then we have Mr. Steppin and Fetchin, former Popo, traffic cop, that's trying to help and aid and abet in the hindering of the finding of whatever happened to Nolan Wells. He is stepping and fetching, and he is cooning for the wrong side.
But you can tell that he's never investigated anything, because if he was a true former police officer that was an investigator, there is no way a former investigator would have set them boys down and walked them into inconsistent statements, made statements that were lies, like the lie detector test, saying that all of the boys except for Warren, but you get the Shrek and Donkey legal team on Nancy Grace and say, oh, they never took a lie detector test. See, this is why I love when content creators like the Negro House podcast bite too much and they can't chew everything because they start choking. He has been choking since Warren got off that seat, and we have been able to dissect, like really take and tear apart their whole alibi.
They're scratching and scrambling right now. They're scratching and scrambling, and they know this stuff is about to fall apart. Even if this district attorney, who is designated to present a case to the grand jury, and the sheriff, this is not going to stop there. But guess what? We have November coming, and the tide will be changing, because if they don't do their job, there will probably be an appointment of a real civil rights division in the Department of Justice. But you know what? It's no statute of limitation in murder.
Yeah.
There's no statute of limitation. That's what they're not banking on. There's no statute of limitation in murder. And I don't think the public nor the family is going to forget what happened to Nolan Wells, because this story is not dying down. This story is growing. This story is growing. And we're not playing these type of games. You've done this for too long, and we are tired and we are fed up, and no justice for Nolan Wells, no peace for Mississippi.
Yeah. And
here's what it is.
What is very clear about the Clear folks is, I mean, we've already called that they're going on a content creator, not a real legitimate platform, until that, they went on Nancy Grace last night, but without their clients, of course. But
hold on. I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist. You go on a podcast with these boys, but then you get on Nancy Grace and then know what you're seeing. Think about the optics there. Think about the optics.
Yeah. And it was the body language. The body language, I could tell how inadequate they are in the lane that they stepped in. They stepped in his lane. It was giving very much ambulance chaser, because how dare you just come out of nowhere? You're not even licensed in the state of Mississippi. No one sought you out. Now we can say, we know for a fact that Ben Crump's team was recommended through a family member of Christine and the Wells Warmsley family.
Thank you, Auntie T.
That is a fact. They didn't reach out to the family. The family reached out to them. These boys did not reach out to what he looked like. He kind of looked like Pee Wee Herman, but that's disrespectful to Pee Wee Herman. Nobody reached out to the fake Trump loving, guzzling, vocabulary.
Y'all know who she's talking about. I ain't got to tell you.
He brought himself here, which is why when she asked him that question, see, they don't be prepared because they're not media trained. You want to say defamation, but you're not media trained, because Nancy walked him into that question and he choked. He choked so much that now we're like, oh, but you're calling them friends. You're calling your clients fucking friends that you met less than 48 hours ago. You're calling the other attorney that is in Tyler one of your good friends. You just met him.
That's a fact.
Serious.
That's a fact.
Shrek and Donkey.
That's a fact. So let's unpack this interview that was done with Nancy Grace. And let's go back to something that the attorneys were asked by Nancy Grace, and that was the cell phone. And I want to point something out. As a obviously investigative journalist and a former investigator for a state agency, I will ask this question of you. If you wanted to acquire evidence that would support or would shed light on the investigation, you have ways of receiving particular evidence. As a former prosecutor, you have subpoena powers. As a member of law enforcement, you have an application for a warrant to seize physical evidence and to retain it for someone, so no one destroy it. Do we know right now that the investigators that are handling this case in the state of Mississippi issued any warrants to secure Nolan Wells' phone? The answer is no. Why is that? That would be one of the first things, is because if they believe that the family is quote unquote obstructing justice, then they have the power by way of a warrant. They can get, we won't say Judge Ashley, we don't need Ashley signing any warrants right now. They can get a judge, a magistrate to sign a warrant because they may have a belief that foul play occurred. This is not what's happening. If there was no warrant issue as of today, they're not taking this investigation serious. And that is my thought.
They're not taking it serious. And I'll go a step further. As a former magistrate judge, that's the one thing I used to handle, was signing off on warrants for evidence that law enforcement would bring in, as well as a probable cause affidavit. It was simultaneously, they could do it at the same time. They can get an arrest warrant and they can get a search warrant at the same damn time. It don't have to be separated.
Right.
It's like they could have done that. It's very telling.
Witness warrant.
It's very telling that they haven't done that, and it makes me very cautious of their investigation as a whole, because if you haven't issued a search warrant for the phone, that means that you are nowhere near going to the grand jury, but you have Nolan's autopsy results that you are refusing to share with his parents. I've never seen a district attorney. Well, it shouldn't even be the district attorney making the calls right now. It's supposed to be law enforcement.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
They are the ones that are supposed to turn over the cause of death to the family. But the district attorney has gotten in and has put a total
stonewall. It's stonewall.
And it's because, in my opinion, it looks like they're preparing for a cover-up, but we are too loud. It's too amplified.
Well,
and they want to blame Crump, but you cannot blame Crump for doing what is necessary in order to make. Nobody should force you all to do your job.
No one. And see, For the sheriff, they appointed a sheriff or elected sheriff. I don't know if it was appointed or he was elected. But even for the PR perspective of you guys showing the public that you guys are doing your job, the publisher needs to be updated. The district attorney would have was the district attorney took the burden off the sheriff and said, well, she's going to control the information coming out. And that showed me that there's a calculated play at hand right now. This is a calculated play. So the sheriff, you gave the sheriff cover, and now you are stonewalling the case, allegedly. Because what else are you waiting for? Because if you didn't get his phone, if you didn't get the phones of the kid, we don't even know if any one of those kids that was with Nolan had scratches on their body. Was there a fight that occurred there where there would be evidence? So do we know if there were pictures taken of these boys that were supposed to be around Nolan when these law enforcement investigators interviewed the boys that was around him? Were there any scratches? Were there any marks on any of these individuals that were in the company of Nolan? We don't know that. We don't know that. And that'll be something that people would look at. They would look at that. So there's a lot of things that are missing. These guys are not new investigating crimes or covering up crimes, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
They're not new at this. So I think at this point, the public needs to manage their expectations as to what they believe the outcome should be. I don't believe.
Auntie Karen, don't get me over here to hollering, okay? He got a Pinocchio nose. Auntie Karen, you is funny. Oh my God.
That it's going to be the outcome that people believe is fair and equitable. So what I'm going to do now is bring up the press conference, and I want you guys to let me bring this press conference up real quickly here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to play this for you. This happened this afternoon. Here we go.
Lead the effort to get to the truth, but keeping this family in your prayers as you have done so many more families giving them support. I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Eric Hertz, Attorney Lisa Park, Attorney Ahmad Smith. We have the honor of representing the family of Nolan Wells. Obviously, you all have come to know his parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley. And this is hard. I heard Congresswoman Macbeth, who lost her son Jordan almost 12 years ago, and it's still raw and emotional when you hear her talk about the loss of a child. I mean, he's not coming back. And that is the story. Everything else is just, hyperbole, is distraction. The story is what happened to Nolan Wells. Somebody knows something. Somebody saw something. I'm thankful to Reverend Al Sharpton and Mr. Tyler Perry and Terrell Owens and Byron Allen putting up these rewards. I understand others have now put up rewards, and that's good because that means we all have the same objective. We want the truth about what happened to Nolan Wells, and it is urgent. It is urgent because each day that goes by, you worry, will we ever get to the truth? And so that's why we want to thank CBC for calling on the federal authorities and anybody else who has resources to help this family get to the truth of what happened to their son. I know I was talking to Christian Clark, and she said, no, let's make sure that all taxpayers' money that goes to support federal resources apply.
And y'all, ain't this kind of funny because nobody came forward for that reward to still say nothing? Even Warren's father put a $50,000 reward out. No one still didn't come forward. What is that telling y'all? Come on, y'all. What is that telling y'all? That these mother effers stick together in Mississippi, honey. Now, you know somebody's seen something and knows something. It was too many people out there not to know anything. At this point, that money don't mean nothing to them. Nothing. And they don't care about Nolan. Their community don't care about Nolan at all. Period. And Warren's father knew doggone well when he put that money up, wasn't nobody going to come forward anyway. He knew that. In my opinion, that was just a stuff off. And that's my opinion.
And our children too. I mean, let's say that nobody should say, oh, it doesn't matter that much because it's a black child. No, it matters. All of our children matter. And so we are going to continue every day to say his name, Attorney Hertz, Attorney Park, Attorney Smith, trying to work with the local district attorney to give them what they need to do a thorough, fair, full, impartial investigation. That's what we're asking for. Everything else is just a distraction.
That's right.
Constituents of the district attorney for Jackson County, Angel Myers McElrath. What's really on my mind right now, this is the 1 month anniversary of Nolan's disappearance.
This is a protest that happened outside the district attorney's office.
What's really on my heart, on my mind today is that the public, and as far as we know, Nolan's parents and legal teams are not giving transparency.
Hey, Brittany, baby.
From the people in this building in charge of the investigation into his death. That's unacceptable.
Yes.
On July 6th, when Nolan's body was found, mere hours after Nolan's body was found, Sheriff John Ledbetter said publicly, without conducting a thorough investigation, that no foul play was suspected in Nolan's death. That has been followed by 30 days of complete silence from the district attorney's office as to what they're doing with the investigation, how they're doing it, any progress in the investigation, nothing. We the public deserve answers.
Justice, no peace. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never.
So, I want people to understand, they're not just black people out there protesting. As you can see, these are non-blacks. This is white.
And that's what I said to y'all. It's a lot of white people that stands behind Nolan. A lot, and I salute them. I salute them and I appreciate them that they're, not in the racist field and all of that stuff. And they see this for what it is. And they see this meaning for what it is. Color have nothing to do with it. A child lost their life. A child went out for the 4th of July and a child did not make it back home. So I salute every last one of these people, male or female, that's out here and standing 10 toes down with Nolan's family.
White folks protesting as well and demanding the district attorney do her damn job and stop stonewalling this investigation and give the family some information that is important. Why would you hold the autopsy report from the family when they're the ones that lost a loved one? Does that even make sense? You could call them into the office and show them exactly what you have. What is the secret? What are you holding back?
It is very sick. This is like a sick ritual that they're forcing up on us. Because what bothers me even more is that Chris Cuomo has got on his podcast or his show and declared that he knew the results of Nolan's autopsy.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell would Chris know?
Chris Cuomo.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, on his podcast with Bart's lawyer. And Bart's lawyer had to backtrack and say, well, I don't know. I haven't been briefed on anything related to the autopsy. So
yeah, why would Chris Cuomo know anything before the family?
Exactly. And why would you get your privileged clear ass on your national platform to harm the family who is grieving? What is wrong with people like that? That the fact that this family still don't have the results of their son's cause of death, and you get your clear ass on your platform to say that you know what happened to their son. You know that there was water in the lungs. You know that it was the toxicology results came back with alcohol. Why the hell would you do that?
I gotta see that. I hadn't seen that clip. I had not seen that clip. Yeah, if he said that, then he knows more than we know, and that would raise concern for me, because if the family don't know and you have that inside skinny on what happened, there's a problem.
Yeah,
there is a serious problem.
Because I was just flabbergasted. Because I was on Keisha's show yesterday, and we played it during her show.
Okay, so
Bart's lawyer is the one that he was like, I don't want no parts in that. Because you can't control what a journalist is going to say. So he definitely got on his platform and stated he knows the cause of death. He knows that there was water in his lungs. Only thing that
y'all remember, I played that video up here. I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
no, don't try to clean it up now.
I got to see that clip, because that would be concerning if he said that. And I'm not saying that you're lying.
If y'all can remember, I played that, and I was like, well, what is going on here? Is someone linking out information? If y'all can remember, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I can't remember who I played it from. I don't know who live I played that from or who video, but I did play that.
Or anything like that. I just need to see that clip, because that would be astonishing that he would irresponsibly say something like that. Well, no one's seen the toxicology report besides the investigators and the district attorney. So I that would really and then this tells you something, Thelma. This tells me a lot. People have chosen sides based on hyperbole and emotions. They have chosen sides. They have taken a stance. They have decided to take the check. You want to send that to me? I can play. Just send it to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you.
Or put your phone near your microphone. We can play it. Just put your phone near your microphone. Play it.
Okay.
You know what Chris sounds like.
You could shoot me. There are things that I know that the average person doesn't know that are not points of speculation. One, that they found now, and again, this could cut three different ways. They found evidence of water in tissue and cavities consistent with drowning. However, the body was also floating in the water and could have collected water. You could shoot me. I fall in the water. I could have water become the equivalent of ingested. Not that often, but it happens. In the stomach, yeah, a little bit. Depends on the condition of the epiglottis. The lungs, more common because there are more entryways that can get to it. The second is, okay, so there was water in there and he was drowned, but he had help drowning. And that the third possibility is that there was water there, but it is not conclusive. I am being told it is consistent with drowning. What that means investigatively is still open to interpretation. You've heard the same. Yeah, so there is no suggestion of gross injury. I do thank you for the clarification. I do not mean to suggest otherwise. I'm saying that what I have been told, that there is evidence consistent with drowning, doesn't mean that he drowned necessarily, or that the drowning was the cause of death, or the water in there was the cause of death. I'm just being open-minded, because that is the most practical way to be. Also, the headline information, not surprising to me, is that he was there drinking. He was seen drinking. He was known to enjoy drinking, and that's what was going on at Horn Island. You can feel any way you want about it, but it is, as a matter of fact, what the situation was about. So the toxicology early on shows a significant level of blood alcohol, the BAC level, as they call it in the body. You have also heard that. Am I correct, counsel? I'm going to wait till the pathologist.
Y'all remember that? Yeah, that's when I said, who's linking out information? How do this man know this stuff? Okay. And it's appeared to me, in my opinion, the other attorney, he knew it too. But he didn't want to come out and say, you ain't putting me on the spot. I'm going to wait until everything come out and let the, authorities say it, and then I talk about it. Yeah.
Just puts out the report, and I'm going to wait till the district attorney puts out the evidence that they have. What's safe to say is you cannot.
Hold it right there. So this is a problem. How was he afforded a preview of a report when the family wasn't afforded a preview of the report?
Facts. And if I don't know if the family ever seen this video. I don't know, but this would be a great lawsuit also. Okay. Because you put out my son autopsy report before I knew anything about it. The family can go after him. And if I was that family and this was my situation, I would definitely go after him. I would sue him because he had no right to do that, whether it was right or wrong, meaning true or false. You put it out there. You put it out there. So where's you getting your information from?
They are testing the waters with the public opinion, court, as well as others. So if we are to believe that Chris has an advance copy and or information about this report, then that raises another flag for me as a member of the media.
Yes.
Why would I, as a journalist, give information that was told to me about a purported report and not make sure the family has seen that same report?
Exactly.
Because now he said a few things. He's actually creating his own analysis of what he was told, because the attorneys have already just said they haven't seen it. So is the district attorney doing PR with certain media outlets and trying to alleviate the storm that's about to happen? So things are not making sense right now, Thelma. For Chris,
listen, it's the trigger words that you got to pay attention to when what the lawyer said. The lawyer said, I'm going to wait for them to report on it. Not that I don't know. I'm going to wait for them to put the
facts. He said that because he don't want to incriminate himself. He don't want no lawsuit to come upon him by sitting on that platform and agreeing with that man. See, the man tried to get him, caught up and said, too, right? So if he would say, yeah, I know too, it was told to me or whatever, that could have been him incriminating himself. So he didn't want to do that. So he was smart enough to say he will wait till the district attorney put it out. Now, do I believe he knows some truth to that? Yes, I do believe that.
Report out. So my thing is, you were giving, like we said, exclusive information about an autopsy, a cause of death, what was found in certain areas. But the lawyer, only thing that he could say, I'm going to wait till they put the report out.
That's right.
That's what I keep telling these people about clear people. Let them talk. And you always got to pay attention to what they don't say. You listen to what they say and you pay attention to what they don't say, because what he didn't say was, I'm not privy to that information.
Right. So
there you go.
So they put it out.
If the people that this lawyer is representing is being scrutinized and for their possible involvement, then they should have been privy with the information. Also, who heard that Nolan was known to drink? Who's telling them that? So did he get a copy of the police investigation report as well? Where did he get that information from?
You remember what they did, in my opinion, when I'm looking at the investigative notes and what happened after the fact, making a phone call to report that Nolan was intoxicated, when his coach that was there in the afternoon said Nolan was just fine. This is the coach who talked to his mother, said that Nolan was just fine. But they are doing this to create confusion and try to save face. So you're going to call, but what they didn't anticipate is everything that they said is being scrutinized because they're so used to the clear people being believed. But you don't identify the female, but y'all so adamant the female was named Katie. But y'all said in that report, some unknown female.
Hold on. The coach wasn't the only one that said Nolan was fine. Warren said it on the Batum Tatum show that Nolan was okay. He was fine. He was regular. And who else made reference to how Nolan acted was the other alleged friend, Trey something, the other guy. So this is not adding up. They're trying to put a puzzle together that just not fitting together. It's not fitting. It's not fitting. Now, if we piece everything together, it's confusion.
Mm-hmm. Can we piece together how Warren told his mom that Nolan had on black shorts?
That part as well.
Yeah.
And that's the reason she posted the picture to correct.
I told y'all.
So that people can have a correct.
I told y'all that's the reason why she posted the picture. He thinks she posted the picture to be funny, to out them. No. You told the mother she had on black shorts. The mother posted the picture that she seen that was last on the internet, and it was not black shorts. So that's why she posted that picture, and that's why he got upset behind it. He lied about the shorts. He didn't tell the truth about the phone. Okay, none of that.
Whoa, wait a minute. He said black shorts.
Yeah.
Did it look black because they were in the dark with Nolan and they did? Wait, hold on a second. I might be on something here. I'm just saying. Did he think they were black because Nolan was outside in the dark, in the dirt, and they were looking over his body? I'm just asking a question because blue looks black in the dark. I ain't just saying now. For him to say he had black on, because if it's in the daytime, I can see blue from black. But at nighttime, looking at a body, they may look black. I'm just saying.
And also, when we go back to the docking video that they gave Raging Tatum, Nolan's shorts is the color that was posted. It was blue. Everywhere that Nolan is identified on that island, I don't see any black shorts. So if your last time seeing Nolan was around 4:30, then Nolan had on those blue shorts. So why would you tell his mother he had on black shorts? There is no way that you can mix up. If your last time seeing him was in a broad daylight, like your lawyer said, how would somebody take somebody's life in broad daylight with all these people around?
That part right there.
Saw him in blue shorts.
That's right.
You wouldn't have gotten that wrong.
That's right. That is right. So psychologically, And
Hey,
in that
Sharon.
moment at 11 o'clock at night, you saw black. You saw
Right.
black because it was nighttime, allegedly. I'm just saying, you can't screw up in the daytime. He's wearing blue. He's wearing pink. He's wearing purple. But at nighttime, everything looks black. I'm just saying. I mean, they're talking too much. And this phone call at 11 o'clock is very suspicious. It is not something heroic, as the lawyer said, that he did something heroic. I'm still trying to find out where was the heroic act that he did. I don't know.
The heroic act would have been staying on that island if you were taking on water so that you wouldn't put anyone else's life in danger. Because when y'all say, oh, we were taking on water before we left Horn Island, y'all still took y'all clear behinds in a body full of water that is not meant for you to survive if you are taking on water, because that boat is going to sink.
And
Let's be for real. Your heroic act wouldn't have been leaving your friend on Horn Island and taking his phone.
What else concerns me is you call the mother to inform her that he's missing, but you have his keys and his phone. And what motivated you to say, I had an aha moment in that evening and say, well, maybe I should let the mother will be the one calling you guys and saying, hey, where's my son at? What's going on? You got his keys in his car. How would he to get back to the house if you got the keys to his car? How was he gonna? What friends is gonna let you be stranding on an island and you have the keys to his car? Even if he could have got a ride back to the car, you'll have the keys to the car. Not making sense. It's not. You guys got to do better than that. Your story's not adding up.
Absolutely not.
Your story's not adding up.
It's every day it gets worse and worse for them. So that's the problem with going on a content creator's podcast. They get to feel superior, like, oh, I got this amazing interview. You literally walked him into contradiction,
into a trap,
into a legal trap.
That's
now
right.
his lawyers showing up. What, Dennis? What real lawyer? We ain't talking about the news. We ain't talking about ABC, NBC. No, we ain't talking about the major news platforms. What lawyer is going to take their clients onto a content creators podcast about
Facts.
an open
Yes.
criminal investigation?
Yes.
A clout
Good
chasing
point.
attorney who don't really care about the kids more so than because the family got to cut a check. As a crisis manager,
gonna cut that check.
As a crisis manager, which is one of my Byron Media Group, for those who don't know, I've represented some high-profile clients. As a crisis manager, my advice would have been to not said anything. Let the report speak for itself. That would have been my advice. I would have told the attorneys, he's not talking. Let them do their job. Forget public. If you don't like what they say on social media, turn your phones off. That's all I would tell them. If you don't like what they say on social media, turn your phones off. And now you gotta now add more to the story, the last story you told. You got to start speaking on other things that you got wrong, because now the smart people that are looking at this, the ones that can see through the clear people, are now seeing the inconsistencies and errors in their way. We see this. The calling of the mother was telling.
Jax is the one that called out Miss Christine. And I'm like, for the life of me, this is why I know y'all parents ain't worth the contractions that it took to push you out to get here. Because what fool is going to get on a content creator's podcast to accuse the mother of posting about her child because y'all told her that her child had on black shorts. If y'all would have never lied and told her son had on black shorts, there was no reason for her to come to the public to correct what you all told her.
Absolutely.
She was looking for her son while y'all was telling her, oh, we'll look for him. Excuse me?
Yep. I said
y'all
that.
didn't look for him for 6 hours.
Right. And what happened, I mean, the fact that he said he had, Warren said he had a connection with the Coast Guard, he has friends at the Coast Guard, is telling. Because if you have friends at the Coast Guard, then you would have told Wyatt, when Wyatt was on the phone with Miss Garcia, that, yeah, get the Coast Guard. I got friends at the Coast Guard. What happened between the time you called Cito and your granddaddy was helping you guys solve the problem? I'm gonna say problem that they were in. They were in a problem and they needed someone to help them solve the problem. And the granddaddy came to help them solve the problem. Hint, hint.
But here's the thing, and this is what I love about how whitewash media thought that they were going to silence and come in and basically be in control of what comes out. Nobody gives a damn about y'all news medias anymore. They are coming to the investigative journalists. They're coming to the journalists. They're coming to the analysts. They're coming to the creators for news.
That's right.
So they didn't anticipate, because his granddaddy is old. They're so used to using money, relationships, proximity, access. They're so used to using that because they get in these powerful positions. That's how they continue to control the ecosystem of corruption. They fucked up when they attempted to commit their cover up in the middle of Horn Island of all places. You can't do that. You can't. Your grandchild calls because they said it on the They was like, well, we know that we got he's a member. How the fuck do you know that? And you are intoxicated. Y'all got on that damn phone with him. He told y'all he was a member. He said, in my opinion, that conversation probably went, don't call coastal because it becomes federal, like you said earlier.
Absolutely.
Call Cito and tell them I'm a member.
If I'm going to listen, let me tell you something. I've ran campaigns for different celebrities. I ran campaigns, PR, missions. I'd never say what none of my clients.
That really messed the game up. Absolutely.
But I will say this. This is alleged, when they realized that Batum Tatum is getting so much backlash, they likely reached out to other more favorable media like Chris Cuomo to help shift the conversation away from Batum Tatum. And this is alleged. Because no journalist would say what he said when the report hasn't been released to the family. So what was Chris Cuomo's motivation for doing that? And we heard it. I'm astonished that he said that. Mm-hmm. The fact that the lawyer had to pull back and say, wait, let's wait for the report. He went and made it a point to say I know something y'all don't know. Screw how the family would receive that information. He decided to put anyway, I'm be nice. That's why Don Lemon ain't fucking with you. That's why when Don left CNN, he said, see ya, I hate to be ya. Let me say this. When Don got arrested on a bogus charge.
He was gloating.
No. He was gloating on Don Lemon's arrest. Mm-hmm. I saw it. I read how he made his reporting. I said, this guy was not your friend. He was a colleague on the job. The minute he got arrested, he was so gleefully happy to report it. I ain't playing with you, Chris. Listen, first of all, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. Chris,
yes, she is. They both cooking, honey.
I want to be able to give the donkey of the day, but I'm gonna let Charlamagne do that. I'm gonna let him do that.
But you know why he's upset. He's upset because Don Lemon was fired wrongfully and he got paid. Chris Cuomo was he got
fired. We know what he got fired for.
So you are mad because you wanted Don to come out and support you for your brother allegations of SA while he was governor of New York.
Well,
you know the optics behind that.
Yeah. I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole, but I get it. I see what it is. Like, this is not.
He did exactly what he should have done, because we know when the roles are reversed, what silence looks like from y'all. Y'all are as quiet.
This is important, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you are hitting the like and subscribe, because this is how we get people over here to talk about this, to have this conversation. Just don't come over here and just looking. Do something about it when you hit the like button. Listen. We're covering this because we want the message out there. We want to get the word out there. We're going to be on top of this story, but we need people like you, even you, Robert, you contrarian. We need even people like you to contribute to the conversation.
Yeah, thank you for the algorithm.
Yeah, Robert, go ahead, keep doing what you're doing, Robert. I don't know, Robert, are you part of their team or what? What are you over here for, man? But we want you over here. You stand out like a sore thumb. You stand out like a sore thumb.
They funny.
But no, we have, what is clear is there are individuals from the white community that are standing in solidarity. There are amazing white individuals in communities across this country. What is happening to them right now is being drowned by the bad apples that is forcing them to go and do protests in front of the district attorney's office, because they know that what they're seeing is not right.
They know it. White folks know that this district attorney's on BS. They know this. You can see a Stonewall a mile away. This is not like this is the biggest case that this district attorney has. The whole world is watching, and she's dragging her ass. That's just what it is. She's dragging her ass. And when election time come around, those who are in Mississippi, in that county, you know what to do.
They know what to do, know how to do it, and know what should be done. But then it's also a testament to what we have talked about for years, is the political corruption that goes on in district attorneys' offices. This is an elected office. So they answer to individuals who support their campaign. It's politics. But the thing about politics is, and I wish, and I appreciate how New York mayor ran his race, how the Michigan senator ran his race, how the Wisconsin governor, soon to be governor, hopefully once the election is over in November, ran their race. They didn't run their race with the wheelers and dealers of the community, the ones that behind the scenes is calling out the shots because they're writing the checks. They ran it on the base of the people, because that's who employs you as the elected official, the people. So when you remove politics out of these seats in these offices, you're going to get a system that is supposed to be built on fairness. But we're seeing a turn, even though it's minor to what some people would believe. No, it's massive. What y'all are seeing in New York would never have happened. Never. New York would have never seen some of the changes that they have seen thus far. That's right. Why we need individuals that are not afraid to nuck and buck and dethrone the system.
You know, last week, Attorney General, newly appointed Attorney General Todd Blanche, by a very slim margin, passed through the Senate. Now, knowing what we know based on this administration and how they have gone after immigrants and their aggressive behavior towards the people in D.C. And around the country, and what happened in Minneapolis, and how it didn't really show that this administration was, and the removal of DEI in the administration. I do not think Todd Blanche and Kash Patel is going to give this case the attention that is needed. And I think that I know that based on the 3 arrests that occurred after the death of Nolan Wells and who these individuals targeting, shows me that this is we're looking at 2 different types of justices, because Ms. Wansley has been attacked as well. The same tools that were applied by way of the federal government has been on this case in the background, because they were the ones that arrested the California man who issued alleged threat to the judge. So the feds are watching this case, but they haven't stepped up. They haven't said, yeah, this case is taking too long. We need to step in and we need to use the resources that we have with their crime lab in Quantico, their agents that are on the ground,
they watch
in the area, because you have to be a fool not to think that the feds are not watching the temperature coming out of Mississippi. They're watching. They're watching everything that we're reporting. They're watching what others are reporting, and they're checking the temperature, because you want to get ahead of what might happen, as we saw in Rayshard Brooks' death in Atlanta, George Floyd death in Minneapolis, Eric Garner's death in New York City, Mike Brown's death in Ferguson, Trayvon Martin's death in Sanford, Florida. Just so many names. The temperature was pretty high. And their people are not buying this stonewalling at all. They're not buying it. They're just, at this point, it's reached to a point where show us what you have, or the people are going to show you what they have. That's what it feels like right now.
No, absolutely. And we know what it is, and we know how to reduce the powers that be. And we got to vote. November, we got to vote, and we got to vote like our freedom has been taken away. I don't care if we walking around free as a bird. Our freedom, our rights. We just had a woman in Florida she lost her baby, I think less than 6 weeks after finding out she was pregnant, and they just allowed her to have an abortion. She's walking around with a unalived fetus that could have caused her septic shock.
Oh, wow.
Because of the Supreme Court's ruling, Roe v. Wade.
I didn't hear about that.
The fact that people can sit at home, like the people in Louisiana, I think it was over 900,000 of you, set your ass at home. And the results that is going to take decades to undo is because y'all didn't see the purpose and the importance of you getting your lazy ass up to go vote. Now you want to complain.
Well, they have an opportunity in November.
Yeah.
Hopefully those that are watching understand that your vote matters. Yeah. If you want to see something different, you have to do something different. If you want to see something stay the same, then sit on your ass.
Yeah.
But the midterms are coming up. Anyone tell you that your vote don't matter? It matters. You need to, if those in Mississippi that are very upset at what is happening with this district attorney, you need to show up. You need to show up. You need to cast your vote, and you need to be able to let them know that your vote means something. Get them out of there. Get them out of there. If they're not doing their job, get them the hell up out of there.
I agree.
Tell them they don't got to go home, but they got to get the hell up out of there.
Facts.
And I would say this: make no mistake. These boys are not victims. They would not be treated as victims. What
that part right there? That part. I just so that's listen. Come back. Well, my kid. Everybody's involved.
Allegedly.
Mama, we need a black dress.
Allegedly, I love it. I love it. Clock that, because we still want to know what happened to Nolan. And until we find out what happened to Nolan, like Nancy Grace said, everybody is a suspect. Until we find out what happened to Nolan, since y'all want to go on a Negro House podcast and pander and get donations and thank God, but blame his mama, don't have no sympathy, don't apologize, don't show no sense of remorse, it's going to be up and our feet going to be stuck on your neck, the same neck we don't even know where Nolan's at.
Okay, so listen, I'm FBA, Foundational Black American. So, and I heard someone say, well, look, essentially voting don't matter. Listen, I want to tell you, it don't matter when you don't vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. You know, we've been doing this for many years. He's at 65, but yeah, we've been doing this for a long time. But you just can't give up. Only way you can give up if you decide you're leaving the country. If you decide you want to go live somewhere else, you want to live outside the country, then that's your choice. You know, that's a choice. But while you're here, you got to participate in the process. But if you just say, I'm tired of the process, then leave the country and make room for someone who is going to vote. Just don't sit on your ass. If you're here, do something. If you just want to sit on your ass and complain and not vote, then there are a lot of countries that you don't have to be in. You don't have to. You can be in where you're going to be respected. And there are a lot of people making the exodus right now from America. I had to say that. I have friends that made an exodus from America recently, you know, because they're just frustrated. And, you know, at some point, either you going to, and I got to be careful how I say this, because I don't want people saying, Mr. Byrne, you're advocating violence. No, at some point you have to, you know, stand up for what you believe. What does standing up mean? It doesn't mean participate in the process, or what else does it mean? Because we know the history of this country. The history is right there in the books.
That's
and
right.
if it's not in the books that you're reading, you can find out what the history is and how did America get whatever they wanted? The government. How did they get whatever they wanted? Did they get it by saying, oh, please, can I have this? And I'll just sit back and let you. They took what they wanted. That's what they did. They took it. They cat off their ass and said, no, we're going to take from that person. We're going to take from that person. We're going to take from that person. They took what they wanted. So why is that mythology different when the people that are feeling like they're being stolen from are not doing something about it? We saw what happened in Jan 6. They said, I don't like the way this party is. We're going to take what we want. Then they all got pardoned. After those acts, they got pardoned. They got pardoned. So at some point, you got to say, I'm gonna be nice. I think most smart people understand where I'm going, but just sitting at home, not doing anything about it is just not an option. That's just not an option. You're gonna have to do something. You got to decide. You're gonna have to decide what you're gonna do.
Absolutely.
But not doing nothing, you're just getting in the way. You're just getting in the way. And shout out to the CBC for at least making a record of the request. And we saw how they try to play for those who don't know, that's the Black Congressional Caucus. But yeah, I see how you try to play them. But at some point, you have to figure out how much does this protecting your family mean to you? What does that mean to you? If you had to defend your family, how far would you go to defend your family? Are you going to dial 911 to wait for them to come to help defend your family, or are you going to defend your family right in that moment? These are choices that you, as an American, have to make every day.
I just played some of his stuff. I'll play it
Or
tomorrow.
what are you going to do for your children to protect them?
I like this channel.
So when you see Nolan Wells' mother and father trying to get answers, you don't want this to be your
I'm running
story.
behind time. Let me see.
You don't want this to be your story.
Yeah.
And I'm in it on that.
Oh, he could have gone from the way. I think he just posted that, Sharon. I think he just posted it a couple of minutes ago. Let me see. And that'll be my last one for today. Yeah, I think he did. Let me see here. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. If you'd like to donate, you're more than welcome. Okay, I think I see it right here. Hold on.
Down. And Nolan jerks the phone.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me.
Not great. Case. Yeah, fam, let's get right into
Okay, this will be
it.
the last one.
Now, at times it's going to be hard for me to articulate exactly what is happening here, what's being said, because the letter, the writing is not
Yeah,
great,
that writing look
but
kind of.
it's good enough to get an idea of what this person
Look
is
like
trying
a female
to say.
writing.
At the top, it says left Evans left Evans' house at 10:30 a.m. on boat to Island. That's July 4th. This letter is dated. Okay, so we say, we got to the party island. We had alcohol. I may have drank a half, if not a whole seltzer throughout that entire time. Was worried about returning for his second swim. He didn't want to ruin his chances. Talking about Nolan. Cell service sucks here, Nolan. Imagine something happening to you and not being able to call out for help. This is Wyatt saying this, allegedly. Nolan side eyes and dismisses the comment. Nolan snaps a photo or video of something. Wyatt had been sniffing the cocaine all morning. Wyatt tries to grab the phone or tells him to put it down, and Nolan jerks the phone. This feels what would lead to Nolan's death later. Let's see, approximately 12 hours later, Nolan was already having an inkling that he shouldn't go to the pool party later. Him and Wyatt had animosity for a while, more so Wyatt, because Nolan was, I don't know what that word is, but the next word says back. He forgave easy.
So wait a minute, is this letter the morning of them going to the island that this person is writing? And was this person there? Help me out.
And didn't hold grudges. He was the peaceful friend, the conflict solver in most of his social group. He had several, maybe 3, and the rest of that part is kind of watered out there. Let's go to the second page right here, and it continues. Nolan was only put on the boat to be transferred back to the island around 3 to 5 a.m. on July 6th. That's why he wasn't found initially on the island. He was stored somewhere cool and dark as to keep decompositioning.
Girl, you better shut up. What? Lord have mercy. I don't know who wrote this letter, but I'm going to tell you something. I had them thoughts in my mind. I damn sure did, y'all. I had them thoughts in my mind. Cause
at a minimum. But it's summer. He already started to have a hint of smell permeating the shaded area. It's an area of property him and his friends hiked or hung around. And yes, it's one of his friends' property. Somebody got to form a hiking trail, maybe both. Somebody cried, Wyatt or Warren. Somebody is scared to speak, Eric. Somebody was, looks like they're a theatrical. I can't make that out. All of them are being hunted. Nolan decided to unfriend this group, and they couldn't accept it. And this, my friends, as far as this person is concerned, believes this is the ultimate motive. Now, I have not been able to authenticate this letter. I don't know. It's floating around the internet. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this letter.
Wow.
You know, it's pretty detailed. It sounds
yes, it is
plausible. It sounds plausible. This is not the first time that we heard that Nolan had an issue, or they had an issue about Nolan going to Horn Island. What we heard initially was that Nolan was that the friends the so-called friends that was on the boat with him was having some trepidation about him going. They didn't want him to go for whatever reason. You know, there was something about a girl, something about, you know, whatever it was, they didn't want him to go. Somehow, some way he ends up going anyway. But now this letter says that no, Nolan is the one who had some trepidation about going with them, but he went anyway. Because remember now, Nolan is the peacemaker. There's even a video out there of a fight happening and Nolan stepping in and making peace. He was the peacemaker. So ain't that strange for how ironic?
Yeah, his mom even said he was a peacemaker. His mom said, you know, he didn't like drama or none of that stuff. You know, so his mom did state that.
That the peacemaker ends up dead out of all of the people. You got all the hotheads. They survive, but the peacemaker ends up dead. So, you know, if Nolan indeed was murdered, which I do believe he was, you know, he didn't start it. We know that.
I believe he was too.
By all accounts.
And I ain't going to say it allegedly. I believe he was.
Peacemaker. Somebody's going to put this story all the way out. At some point, somebody got to come forward and collect that reward money. It's $125,000 up right now. I do know that Mississippi is not an ideal place to live for a progressive person. You know, people who, you know, love technology and advancement. You know, people who want to get, you know, grow, evolve in life, you know, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. You know, Mississippi is not the place for these type of people. Mississippi is one of those places where most people go, I do believe, so that they can live in the past. They're stuck. And they get to be, you know, kings and queens because they can't compete nowhere else. That's right, I said it. Now, if the shoe don't fit you, don't try to put it on. Don't try to put it on. But if it fit, lace it up. I'm talking about the ones who the shoe fit. They moved to Mississippi so they can have.
Well, you know what? That letter is very detailing. And do I believe it? Yeah. And y'all, that's why I said what I said one day. I said, maybe, you know, maybe they had him somewhere. I said that. Maybe he could have been stored somewhere and took back out there. You know, I said all of that. Because maybe they want his body to be decomposed. And they had to get rid of it, wherever they had it at. But I definitely do believe that. I believe that letter. Now, who did it? Who did what? All of that? I don't know. But I definitely do believe that letter. That letter sounds very, very, very detailed. Sound like that could have been from a female to me. I don't know how y'all feel, but sound like could have been a female that wrote that letter. Yeah. Sound like that could have been a female. Mm-hmm. And the only thing they're gonna do, they always want to say everybody lying. See, everybody lying. Everybody ain't gonna lie. But parents died on because they was holding the body on the narrow of the road. Yeah. I mean, we'll never know that. We'll never know that. Because from my understanding, they didn't find him in the water. They found him like on the side with his sand at. That's what I heard. So I guess everybody's telling the same lie. Exactly. Well, we smart, so we already know that's that's not true. That's what they want us to believe. Oh, y'all lying. You don't know what we're talking about. You got to go to Mississippi to see. Who gives a fuck about going to Mississippi to see some goddamn water and some sand? I don't give a damn about going to Mississippi because I don't fuck with water and I don't mess with no boats. Okay, so I'm not going to Mississippi to see nothing. I don't have to go there to give my opinion about how I feel and what happened. I don't have to do that. I can stay right here and give my opinion, what I feel, what happened on that day. And I do feel that that boy was unalived by somebody. Yes, I do feel that. I do not feel that boy drowned it by swimming. None of that. I don't feel that way. I never felt that way. I definitely do believe. Who is the content creator? Because I don't play everybody's stuff. Who is the content creator? I mean, you can tell me. I mean, if I don't, all depends on because I don't play everybody's stuff. Yeah, I just believe that something happened to that boy. If I don't believe nothing else, I'm gonna believe that. I just not gonna believe that that boy got in the water and tried to drown. I just don't believe he stayed back with no girl. I don't believe that he told them he was gonna stay back with a girl. I don't believe none of that. None of that. I don't believe it. I don't believe that, y'all. Oh, I don't know that content creator. Yeah, is that a girl, guy, a woman? I believe they want know into. Mm-hmm. 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 I wasn't subscribed, but the videos are very interesting. A black man. Okay. All right. I probably have to check him out. I try to like me before I play people's stuff. I sit back and I observe them. I'm a person I like to observe people personality, their behavior, how they run their platform. I try to. I'm a very observant person. That's what I do. I observe stuff. I like to do that because I don't want anybody to come from my channel, so I have to do that. So, yeah, I'll check it out and see. Let me screenshot it. So, if I get, where was it? I'm doing good, Candy Girl. Let me screenshot it so if I don't forget, I can look it up today. Hold on. Y'all know how I do. I let it stay in my lane. Not saying everybody a bad person, but I see they got the loop. Damn. What's his name, y'all? Wait, let me see. God darn, I forgot the man's name. Oh Lord. I forgot the man doggone name, y'all. Hold on. What's the man name? I see his trial started today. Oh, Tupac. Yeah. His trial started today. I know the lady I was just playing, the former prosecutor, I think she's there. Yeah. That trial started today. I know Wednesday I'm going to be doing Carmelo case Wednesday and Thursday. So, yeah, I'm going to switch it up here, and I got to do that case because I think they're going to be live. I don't know what time. So I might have to play it, like, because they probably going to do early in the morning. I don't come live until afternoon. So, yeah. So I'm going to see what's happening with that case this week. See what comes out of that. Because I think it's a court date Wednesday and Thursday on that case. Yeah. Sometimes I like switching up every now and then, And I hope and pray that Carmelo gets a fair trial again. He deserved it. I think they did everything wrong when it comes to his case. Everything was definitely done wrong. No one can come in the courtroom. No one can do this. No one can do that. They just did that boy so wrong. I hope his mother and father are doing okay. I haven't heard anything else about them or anything, but I hope they're doing okay. I know they got their little ups and downs every day also, so I know they can be going through their little own thing too. Sometimes we never know what people going through behind closed doors in their own home, So, and I haven't seen Christina post anything lately. Not unless I missed something. I don't know. Y'all, it'd be so much to keep up with, y'all. My brain be, phew, child, my brain can't do it, y'all. I be all over the place, y'all. Yeah, we need justice for Carmelo too. But I'm definitely gonna do that case. I was gonna do Tupac, but I'm not really interested. I don't know. I'm not interested in cases like that. I mean, it's good that his family is getting justice after all these many years. A lot of years went past. But I'm just not into, I don't know. I'm not into celebrity cases. I don't know why. I'm just not. Never was interested in them. Yeah. I mean, maybe if it was a celebrity I like, maybe I would do it, like Fantasia and stuff like that. But too much of the rap stuff, I'm not into that kind of stuff. Yeah, yes, justice for Carmelo and Nolan. Yes. Yeah, we live in a nasty world, y'all. Very evil and demonic. I'm not gonna say it ain't no love. There's some love out here somewhere, but it's just hard to find it, So oh yeah, if you go to her live, she live about it now too, sis. The lady, the one I was just playing on my platform. So she live on her channel now about it. And Mel, he was live earlier about it. Before I came live, he was live. Because I think both of them is covering that case. From what I know, both of them are. Probably some more content creators gonna cover that too. Because you got a lot of content creators. They do celebrity cases, But yeah. So y'all, I'm going to get up off of here. I love y'all. Thank y'all for timing in. I appreciate every last one of you guys. And thank you to two of my supporters for the donation. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have to stick together and work with each other and to uplift each other. Yep. and get out and vote when it's time. Whenever it's time for your state to for election, do it. Do it. Get some of these evil people out the chair that's making it bad for our communities. You know? So I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. I love you guys. Thank you guys for timing in. Y'all be safe out here in these YouTube streets, Facebook streets, TikTok streets, wherever you decide to go. Be safe, okay? And I always tell y'all, watch what you put in the chats, because you know they looking. And I don't want y'all to be caught up in no bullshit with the police knocking at your doggone door now. So y'all be safe. I love you guys. Stay prayed up. And I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace and love. Latte, I'm going to text you now. Y'all enjoy the rest of you guys' day.